What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak your mind, sports talk. All right, check it out. Check it out. We got some good fights, some very, very good fights, and not really being talked about a lot. You know why they're not being talked about a lot? Because I'm guilty of it too. I'm not innocent in this. We spending too much damn time arguing over this silly shit. You know, Tank Davis, who ain't doing nothing, arguing about him. Devin Haney, who want the world but don't want to try to do anything. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and this silly ass mediation and glove gate and all of this. But then we're missing a lot of interesting things happening in the sport. And these fights, these three fights here, I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this instead of arguing about the foolery. Because we're going to have plenty of days to do that. Plenty of narratives out there for me to debunk. Plenty of idiots out there for me to get on. But let's talk about Juan Francisco Estrada and Chocolatito. Let's talk about Kazuto Ioka and Kosei Tanaka. How about we talk about Joseph Diaz Jr. fighting Rock? I think I spelled his name wrong, but Rakhmonov, right? And see, here's the thing: like these guys, bro, these fights here are very good fights. I'll start with the one that's probably the least of the three fights, but still a great fight, and that would be Jojo Diaz Jr. and Rakhmonov, right? Shavkat Rakhmonov. Hold on for a second. Let me see what we got in the building before we crank this up. My man Iceman in the building. What's good with you, Iceman? Appreciate you coming through. Top of the afternoon to you too, Ronald Finkley, my brother. What up with you, fam? William Mason Jr. in the building. Jojo Diaz, mad overrated. Yeah, well, we get ready to talk about that, William. Could he lose and get exposed? Because Shavkat Rakhmonov is a very good fighter. For you guys that don't know him, look at him. Go check him out. And if you think that Jojo Diaz is overrated or overhyped, then, you know, this could be a fight that he could lose. This could be a fight that he could lose because this ain't like uh, Tank Davis going to go fight no little Leo Santa Cruz. No, this is a valid fight here. This is a valid fight right here. So, you know, if you think that JoJo is overhyped or whatever, I would suggest that you go take a look at Shavkat Rakhmonov and look at his skills because then you may assess, William, that Rakhmonov will beat Jojo Diaz Jr. That could be very well your assessment. And shout out to my man William. William just, joined the Speak Your Mind Sports Talk family not too long ago. When I was doing live commentary from certain fights, I believe. But I can appreciate William, and I'm glad he's a part of the Speak Your Mind Sports Talk family because William doesn't pay attention to just one weight class. William doesn't side with, ethnic background or country. William looks at it from the sport of boxing. So I can always appreciate the things that William has to add to the conversation. So shout out to you, William. He beat a terrible champion. You talking Kevin Farmer? Yeah, I mean, and again, like we got to see these guys come up, William. You know what I mean? And now JoJo is fighting a bum mate. No, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Now you throwing me. Now you throwing me because Rakhmonov is not a bum, William Mason Jr. And I'm not saying that you're doing this, William, but a lot of fans in boxing, because they don't know of a guy, they just immediately call him a bum. He's called a bum because people don't know of him. Like they say Oshi Nakatani or Otto Valine. They were bums just because people didn't know about them. But these guys were undefeated fighters that I was coming up in the prospect. And the fact, I mean, coming up in boxing, the prospects. And the fact of the matter is they were just unknown. As prospects, we don't know. We don't have an idea of if they're good or not. We have to let them get in there and fight. But just because we don't know them, don't mean that they're a bum. And I don't really call fighters bums anyway. I tend to, give them the respect to call them low-level fighters because a lot of fans that call these fighters bums would get in the ring and get the total shit beat out of them by everybody that they call them bums. They would get in the ring with them and get obliterated. And then, I would wonder after they put those gloves on and get in the ring, who would be the bum then? That's why I really try to refrain from calling these fighters bum. Eddie Hearns is where my boy Tevin Funk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you not entertained? Yeah, exactly. Prom fighting champion, what's good? What's good? Oh, I'm doing better. I'm doing better, man. Still laid up in bed. I got about another week, but I am able to move around more often, guys. So that's a good thing. But just to let y'all know, every time I'm sitting here talking to you guys every day, this is where I'm at in the bed, chilling. So, yeah. Hey, what was wrong with that anyway? I just thought. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Put it all the way down. Yeah. Oh, see, there I am in the bed, laying on my pillow. This is what I do every day. Laying down on my pillow, talking shit about boxing, maybe munching on some snacks. That's it. I just didn't think y'all would want to see my ugly mug laying down in bed all the time. So just decided for the time being, I get all better to sit up and throw my hats on and stuff. Y'all don't have to pay attention to my ugly mug and can pay attention to but I'm feeling much better prime fighting champions. Thanks for asking, fam. Samuel Wilshaw in the building, G. Jeff Federline. What's up with your King Smoke? What's good with you? Ronald listening in, working. I see you, Ronald. Get that money, fam. Get that money. Chin Smoke, good day in the hood. No
Always,
doubt,
man.
dog. Some Christmas shopping. Christmas shopping finished. Yeah, my Christmas shopping finished before it started. Prime Fight Champion. You know why? Because I don't celebrate no damn Christmas. Call me Scrooge McDuck or the Grinch or whatever. But I don't celebrate no damn Christmas. I find Champion finished. What you say,
What you
Ron?
celebrate? What you celebrate then?
Life.
Okay. You don't get nobody gifts
Nope.
or nothing,
I don't get them and I
huh?
don't expect them. But it's not that I don't celebrate Christmas because I don't like the idea of gift giving because my wife and I,
Yeah.
we do a nonprofit and we give all year round. I give money, I give time, I give help to people all year round. That's what I do. So it's not the part of giving. I think the giving is necessary for life. We should all give, right? So it's not the giving that I don't really like or celebrate or associate with Christmas. It's the lies surrounded behind the fucking holiday. First off, we lie to our fucking children when they come up. The whole lie about Santa Claus, where it derives from, is the German holiday, Saint Nicholas, which I won't even get into that. But Saint Nicholas was not somebody to be praised, not go in there. You know what I mean? And then it's just the marketing and economic situation of the big lie that Christmas is just a marketing for you, all of y'all to get out there and spend all the money. Look at all of the damn comments we got now. Finish my Christmas shopping. Finish my Christmas shopping. So it's the lie that's instituted around the whole significance of the holiday is, which I don't agree with, and I don't celebrate.
Fair enough, but ain't nothing gonna
Right.
change. We've evolved, and really, people gotta
Yeah.
let the past
But
go.
that's the thing. I
Personally,
never
to
try
me,
to
because
change people.
it
I
ain't nothing
never.
gonna change.
Like I just said, I don't celebrate Christmas. I said, I always tell people Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays if you celebrate them. I don't try to change people out of it. But you just asked me the question, why don't I? So I was just sharing why I don't. I would never try to convince you or anybody else not to celebrate. If you guys like to celebrate Christmas, that's cool. But
Oh
at
no,
3 years old,
no, I'm
at
not
three
trying
years
to
old, my
change you.
daughter
I'm
knew
just saying
fucking
like
well they won't
that's
no goddamn Santa Claus. I won't go teach her that lie. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, to each his own. You know?
I understand what you mean, but the world's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't have anything. I'm not an
how you feel about
anti-Christmas guy. I'm not against Christmas. I'm not literally a Scrooge or a Grinch of Christmas. I just prefer not to celebrate Christmas or any other holiday for that matter. I don't celebrate Father's Day, Mother's Day, Sweetie's Day, Easter, all of this bullshit because I don't celebrate any of that shit. None of it. Yeah.
yeah, just
Life.
celebrate life,
That's my
right?
celebration is life. And as far as when it comes to giving, I give every day. Bro. I give every day. Any chance I'm able to, I give. You know, I don't need to pull aside one
Well, that's a
day.
good
Yeah,
celebration
I
in
don't need to
itself,
pull
life.
aside one day like anniversary or birthday or Christmas. I give to my wife daily. I give to my kids daily. I don't have to
Yeah,
pull a day aside to say, hey, this is the day I'm gonna set aside to give to you. Like, get the fuck, bro. I ain't with that shit. Whatever. But let's get back to boxing. Let's get back to boxing. I don't want to veer off. Chain with ice. What's good with you? Uh, let me see. So yeah. So with Jojo Diaz and Rakhmonov, let's talk about this fight first because I don't I don't agree. Um, I don't agree that Rachmanov is a bum. I don't agree with that at all. That's number one. Um, and I think that Jojo Diaz, yeah, he did only beat Kevin Farmer. But with that being said, Jojo Diaz is coming up. Like, we got guys coming up like Tank Davis that ain't doing a fucking thing. It does decide to fight bullshit guys, not valid fighters. Like, I mean, we calling Shavkat Rakhmonov a bum, but to be honest, William or whoever else, how much do you know about Shavkat Rakhmonov? Do you know that he's undefeated? I mean, he's an undefeated prospect. I'm wondering how can an undefeated prospect be a bum? It was the same shit that we heard with Otto Wallin and Masayoshi Nakatani when they went into their fight. Masayoshi Nakatani came in against Teofimo as the number one Japanese guy at the time. Number one guy, undefeated, 70% knockout ratio, and ranked higher than Teofimo on the world level. But people were saying Teofimo lost to some Japanese bum. Otto Wallin, another one, undefeated, was showing promise. He was a domestic level fighter, not of America. And then he came and cut Fury over the eye. Fury lost this got almost no, Fury went life and death with some bum. And now here we are with Rakhmonov and Jojo Diaz Jr. And one of the comments in the chat, well, yeah, I'm not even in JoJo fighting some bum. Well, what did we know about Rachmanov, Nakatani, or Otto Wallin? What did we know about him? I mean, if we look at Masayoshi Nakatani, the bum that Teofimo faced, he just came off of a year and 7 month layoff, weeks in the hospital, and won a fucking title. So how much of a bum is he? Because I don't think,
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Tevin Farmer have a
huh?
rematch clause or something? What happened to Tevin Farmer? I thought he had a rematch clause.
Kevin Farmer? I'm not even sure what happened with that
Yes.
situation, but I don't remember hearing about any rematch clause with him and JoJo. I'm not. I don't know. It could have been wrong, but that's not something that I heard of. Well, I believe that if they did have a rematch, that fight would have been happening. I believe the fight is warranted another fight. It was a pretty good fight. It wasn't like JoJo watched him or anything. Tevin Farmer made some mistakes and he did some things that he didn't usually that I wasn't accustomed to seeing him do. But Tevin Farmer is a good boxer. And I know that he can make adjustments. So I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Jojo Diaz and Tevin Farmer. However, let's move forward because I don't want this fight is a very good fight. This fight is a very good fight. And because we don't know Shavkat, I don't know how to say his whole name, bro. It's some crazy Russian name. So I just call him Shavkat, his first name. But Rock
Yeah.
Rakhimov or Rakhmonov, however you say his name. I think it's Rakhimov. Uh, I seen in an article on Boxing Scene, they had it spelled Rakhmonov. And then, like, I seen an article on Box 24. No, I think it was Michael Benson, where it was spelled Rakhmonov, right? So I don't know what the fuck is Rakhmonov or Rakhimov. Either way, he's a good fighter because I looked at some film on him. He can fight, man. He can fight. And again, huh, he ain't 15-0 for nothing. You know, I'm not saying he's fought the highest level of competition and all of this. I'm not going down that road. But the guys that I've seen, the film that I watched on him, and the guys that I've seen him fight, I watched like 3 or 4 fights of his, and none of these guys had losing records. They all had winning records. So I'm gonna test this guy and wrap him up as a bum just because I don't know him. And furthermore, I think that it's going to be a really
Of
big
course.
challenge for Jojo Diaz. I think this is going to be a really good fight. It's a 50-50 fight. And for people that only know Jojo Diaz and don't know anything about Rakhimov, uh, I think you should go check him out because it's going to be a good fight. Rakhmonov moves, he moves well. He utilizes his jab well. This guy has power. He has pop. He has more pop than Kevin Farmer, I believe. I think he probably has more pop than Kevin. Ronald, let me put you on mute, bro, because I don't know what that is. A lot of rock in the background, fam. But he has a lot of pop, man. At least the appearance of the guys that he was hitting in the ring looks like he hits really hard. And you know, I just think that JoJo's gonna have difficulties with him, and JoJo still have improvements to make himself. It's not like JoJo is an elite fighter, you know. So this is going to be a pretty interesting match, and it's definitely getting overshadowed because I mean, look at this shit again. Like I said again, I'm guilty of it, man. The fucking Tank Davis foolery and the Canelo hate and the Anthony Joshua hate and the Wilder fucking Glovegate and arbitration and all of this fucking tomfoolery, Spence and Crawford, and all of these silly arguments that we have day after day. And then we have 3 fights like this coming up. And I'm just on Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov, which I think that this fight is the lesser of the 3. I'm even more interested in the other 2. But just starting off with this first fight, it is an extremely interesting fight. Um, and again, if you guys don't see, I think most people know about I'm sorry, Jojo Diaz Jr. because of the Tevin Farmer battle, and and Jojo has a name, and the Hispanic fan base has been on Jojo Diaz Jr., so he has a name. But a lot of these Eastern European fighters, Kazakhstan fighters, and guys coming on, a lot of American fans of the people in this circle, they don't know anything about these guys. They don't know anything about these guys. A lot of people, like even myself, I don't watch the amateurs. I don't watch the amateurs. I do watch the WSB, whatever the fuck that tournament that boxing league is. It's not pro, it's not amateur either, but they don't be having headgear and shit. So I watch a lot of those fights sometimes, and I see guys coming out of those leagues and such. And I try to get as much as I can in, but um, I cut out and had a phone call, so I'll be in the chat. Oh, okay, Ron. So I don't keep up with everything, but I do spread around outside of the United States in this demographic. It's more boxing is a worldwide sport, so I think we need to focus on other countries and other fighters coming in and what they bring to the table concerning the sweet science. And we were just talking about this on Rivals channel earlier. Mark had to leave abruptly, but you get into these debates with people and we start talking about things like this concerning the sweet science, and all they run to is how much money a guy is making. That don't have a goddamn thing to do with what they're going to do in the ring. Jojo Diaz, how much money he getting, don't have nothing to do with how him and Rakhimov are going to fare in the ring. And so that's what we need to focus on. as boxing fans, who's going to win? Because a lot of these so-called upsets, they're not really upsets. They're not really upsets. They're called upsets because of the facade put around these fighters. Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois, that wasn't really an upset. It was an upset because of the facade, the Frank Warren facade put around the fight. The fact that the bookies wanted to make some fucking money. And so they laid the odds on Dubois. And they know people were going to go thrusting their goddamn money on Daniel Dubois. So everybody said, oh, Daniel Dubois is the best. He's going to win. It was never an upset, man. If you look at boxing and you pay attention to guys, not just the guys in your country, or not just the guys with your ethnic background, or not just the guys with your nationality or skin color. You look at guys in the sense of boxing. A lot of these fights that's called upsets or presumably upsets, you will see clearly that they're not upsets. It's just fans don't give the credit to certain fighters for different reasons, whether they're not their nationality, or they're not in their demographic, or they're not a black or white or Mexican or British fighter, or they're not with the right network, or whatever the fuck the foolishness is. They're not looking at these fighters, or they simply don't know of them, so they just chalk them up as bums. And again, I don't know, like, I don't understand how you can call a prospect 15 and an undefeated prospect 15-0. Rakhmonov has, I think, 12 or 13 knockouts. So he has a really good knockout ratio. 15-0, and he's a prospect. How's a prospect a bum? I don't think a prospect is a bum or great. Prospect is just somebody you don't know of. But one thing about prospects, we don't know if they're good or bad until we see them in the ring. Rakhimov could get in there and totally beat the shit out of Jojo Diaz. And then people wouldn't be calling him a bum. They would notice him now because he just beat the shit out of Jojo Diaz. But they had no idea that he even had the potential to beat the shit out of Jojo Diaz because they chalked him up as a bum as soon as he stepped into the fight with him. I could tell you this. I could tell you guys this 100%. Jojo Diaz versus Shavkat Rakhimov. Jojo Diaz versus Rakhimov is a much better fight, much more competitive fight than Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. That's no cap, man. That's no cap. But look at how they pumped that fight out. 400 million champion Leo Santa Cruz, one of the toughest fights in Tank's career. No, it wasn't. It was all bullshit. It wasn't a tough fight. That man was letting the dude hit him. He was letting the dude hit him. Walked into him and knocked him out. How is that a tough competitive fight? Then they try to say, you see what Leo was doing to him earlier in the round? Shut up with that. What was Leo doing to Tank? Nothing. He was hitting him with shots that didn't bother him. Y'all call that competitive? Some guy flailing off on some shots that don't bother the guy that's essentially going to just keep walking through that and knock him out? That's a competitive fight? Wow, bro. Like, what are we satisfying ourselves with in boxing? This fight with Jojo Diaz Jr. and Rakhimov is going to be a banger. No doubt in my mind. I'm going to call it people telling. It's always good to talk about fights that are actually happening. That's another thing too, Chin Smoke. These fights, we're actually going to get them, right? We sit here and we clamor on about Joshua and Tyson Fury. We didn't know if we're going to get that shit. We arguing about the damn arbitration and mediation. That fight ain't set in stone. We bitching and moaning about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That fight don't even look like it's going to happen. We argue all day, every day about Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. And Bob Arum said he's not even giving them a shot. So just like Jojo said, it's always good to talk about fights that's actually going to happen because Chocolatito Estrada has been set. Ioka and Tanaka has been set. Jojo Diaz and Rakhmonov are set. These fights are set to happen. Spence and Crawford, they ain't even sat at the goddamn table. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, well said, Chan. Ricky E 245 in the building. What's good? My man Brian Harkin. What's good, Brian? Ayob's in the building. What up? What up, Ayob's? Iceman, what's good? What's good? Sliding down to the chat, guys. Y'all know I always get behind. I didn't even know Chocolatito and Estrada were fighting. Why is nobody talking about it? Hey, my point exactly, William Mason Jr. Because everybody's too busy talking about Spence Duncan Crawford and Devin Haney and his foolery and Teofimo's the best. And you know what I'm saying, William? We all busy talking about the politics and arguments of uh the sport instead of fights like this. I mean, I was just going back and forth with someone on Discord over a Punch Drunk video. Because Punch Drunk put up a video about race wars and boxing. He's got a lot of Latinos on one side, a lot of Hispanics on the other side. We're talking about shit like that instead of talking about Chocolatito and Estrada, Ioka and Tanaka, Jojo Diaz and Rakhmonov. Great fights. We're too busy talking about that type of shit, Willie. And that's why I put this live up today, and I'm gonna start putting more lives up because, guys, as I said, I am not sitting here throwing stones while living in a glass house because I started this live with I'm guilty of it myself. And everybody knows this. I put up live day after day talking about those other issues, overshadowing these great fights that we're about to get. You know, people say, oh, I want the best fights in boxing. I just want the best fights. Well, y'all better be looking at these fights because these are some of the best fights. And if you're not interested, or if you just, oh, I don't mess with the little guys, I'm just a heavyweight guy, then you may think boxing is because I got a lot of people over here like that. They're just more interested in the bigger guys, the heavyweight division. I've had people come on the panel and say, oh man, I don't even look at nothing under 147. And that's unfortunate because you cannot say that there's no good fights in boxing if you're only limiting yourself to certain divisions. You know? I was on Rivals channel this morning, and shout out to my brother Mark. He had a good live going there, but he had some issue, and he had to cut it down. But a dude, Coach K, was on there, and he was talking about, you know, he was talking about the new age of the sport, what people, argue about and talk about these new fighters, but they can't appreciate the old school because they don't know nothing about it. They don't go watch footage or whatever. And he gave some ideas on what people could do to boost their knowledge and understand more about it. And there was some fabulous ideas, man. Y'all go check that live out. Mark just put it up today. And listen to what Coach K was saying. There was some interesting things he was saying about this. And he made me look within myself and say, you know what? I'm a part of that problem that he's talking about. See, and that's the thing with this community too. People don't want to hold themselves accountable. I didn't get mad at what Coach K was saying because a lot of that shit hit home. The things that he was saying on Rival's channel, a lot of it hit home. I looked deep inside of myself and I said, shit, I'm a part of that problem too. And then I said, no, I'm not talking about that today. And then so I knew about these fights, but I hadn't been talking about them. So I want to talk about these fights today. I want to talk about these fights and get you guys ideas on it as well. I mean, people love to come up on this goddamn panel and argue. I tell you what, when we sit here and have a reasonable discussion and want to talk about fighters that they don't know, and nobody want to come up. So, but it's all good because I can talk for hours by my goddamn self. You know what I mean? Willie said, I got Estrada KO. Oh, wow. Gonna be a good fight, man. Gonna be a good fight. I don't know 50-50 fights at me. I can't. I'm a Chocolatito fan, Roman Gonzalez. You know, would like Roman Gonzalez to win, but I'm a fan of Estrada too. He's a monster, man. And that last fight he had with Quadras was fucking fire, fam. Gosh, that fight was fun. As a matter of fact, these two guys' last fights were both fire. Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada. They fought on the same night on the same card. And prior to Estrada fighting, Chocolatito fought. Israel Gonzalez. It was Gonzalez versus Gonzalez, Roman Gonzalez and Israel Gonzalez. And that fight was a banger. And I was like, wow, bro, it's probably going to be the fight of the card. And I was doing the commentary. I was doing this fight card. And I can't remember who it was in the chat, but somebody in the chat said, well, D, what if the next fight is better than this? Because it could possibly be. I think our rival was there. And he might have been the one to say, I don't know. But somebody said, what if the next fight is better than this fight? It could be. And I was like, man, I don't know about that. This was a banging ass fight. Talking about Chocolatito and Israel Gonzalez. And then right after that, Juan Francisco Estrada and Quadros comes on. And that fight was a banger. To me, better than the Chocolatito and Israel Gonzalez fight. It was better. I mean, you had knockdowns, double knockdowns, then knockout. There was boxing involved. Man, it was great. It was great. So both of these guys' last fights were very exciting, impressive, and I just can't wait for them to get in the ring. To tell you the truth, Mason Jr. said I got the Tanaka split decision. Yeah, I think I got Ioka in that fight. I got Ioka in that fight, William Mason Jr. With the Estrada and Chocolatito, I can't really gauge that fight. I think it's 50-50. I'm actually snacking on some French fries and shit, man. Not the edibles, not yet, bro. Snacking on some French fries, William. There go Mark. What's up, Mark? I'm live in the building. I'm probably way behind in the damn chat. Whether it's in bed or not in bed, I don't want to see that other. Oh shit! Good one, Mark. Good one. DG, I hope your diaper is being changed regularly. Man, look, I already know I don't get embarrassed by shit, right? I don't. I think embarrassment is self-inflicted. It's your mind. But it's funny you say that, Samuel, because I have to wear like these fucking ass pads and shit, bro. You know what I mean? And it's a fucking pain in the ass, bro. It's funny you made that joke, but bro, I swear to God, bro, shit be leaking and shit. Cause they went up in surgery, they had to cut and go that direction through the back door. So yeah, it's funny you made that comment because shit, man, that shit was bothering me for like the first 2 weeks. It slowed down now, so my diaper do get changed. Oh man, y'all fucking crazy, dog. Saint Brent the building. D you dusty crackhead. No, I won't mess with no crack, Saint Brent. Only the herbals, my friend. I left all of those hard drugs alone back in my late 20s, early 30s. Maybe like 31, I was done with that shit. I don't do that shit. I don't fuck with no hard drugs, fam. I don't fuck with any drugs. I have not even taken like all of this medicine, these painkillers, all of that. I still got a shitload of them. I just be fighting through the pain. I don't like taking medicines or drugs or anything, whether it's over the counter pharmaceuticals or street drugs. I don't like that shit, fam. Not at all. Intangible. What happened, Intangible? You just came in and fell off. Said that Ioka Tanaka picture thumbnail is my edit, by the way. Really? I found it online. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent work on that, Intangible. I mean, probably the biggest Tanaka fanboy around, so don't surprise me that that's your edit. I see my pictures on because a lot of my thumbnails I make up on my own. I do the cutouts, but sometimes I don't feel like it, so I'll just go online and get a couple of pictures. But I've seen mine also intangible on plenty of people's. I'll do the cutout, and I'm like, man, I made that shit. It is what it is. But since it is yours, thank you, intangible. You helped me make this thumbnail rather quickly, my friend. Do appreciate you. And where the fuck? Come back up here anyway, intangible, because I know you got something to talk about when we get on that Aoka Tanaka fight. As much as you like Tanaka, like I like Teofimo Lopez. You got to come up with that. Talk about that. What up? What up, D Hodges? Say what up, D Jeff and chat LDBC salute. Chat and family salute to you. D Hodges in the LDBC salute to you, fam. What's up, D Hodges? What's good?
Man, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody gonna jump on. Let me go kick it with my bro for a little
Oh no,
small
no,
minute.
no. Ain't nobody ever got to jump on, fam. I can
No, I
blend.
know, but I was like, I want to talk to you anyway. You know what I mean? I just was joking, dude.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, how you doing, my brother? How you doing?
yeah. I can
I
keep.
wanted to play. Look, I wanted to play that stupid thing about the upset thing. It's an upset where you are a 12,001 to a negative 20, whatever. That's an underdog fight. That's
Right.
what I go by. That's what I go by with a lot of fights, the numbers. If it's 12, if I'm 12,000 or something, I don't know how betting go because I don't bet. But you know, the positive fighter, like he'll have a super high percent, and then the other guy have a little percent, and
Right.
then they win. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I would have lost my house on Dubois because Dubois, the joystick dog, that shit was overwhelming though. If you go look it up, go look at the betting numbers on that.
Oh,
That
I've seen it.
that what
I advise gamblers every weekend. It's like 8 or 9 guys. That's what they do. They gamble, and I send them the pics. So they've been showing me the ropes. I'm on a Bovada, which is a betting site, and I just do like these little dollar parlays for fun. So I seen the odds. The odds was
no,
stupid.
only thing I did was like friendly bet. You know, I friendly bet with my friends, like and other people that know boxing, but I
Right.
don't know because that sucks because I bet all this money and I only get a little bit back. What the, am I supporting that nigga's career? So that's the only time like I'll bet. Like if I was to bet like that, I will bet for an underdog that I know is good and he has a chance. But other than that, why people bet all that freaking money? You ever ask yourself that? Why you spend $1,000 just to win $100 back if you win? And if you lose $1,000. Why? Just to say you won the bet? Like, I really don't understand that. No, I'm saying.
Nah, it's not. It's not really that. Like when you get into the gambling, people don't do it just that simply. You got what's called prop bets, right? So when you go in there and you like say like you were saying, you see a guy that's uh a minus 2,000, and then the person under them is like a plus 1,400, right? Which means they're crazy underdog. Well, when you click on that bet, you drop it down. There's prop bets, so it gives you plus odds instead of just betting straight on the fight. You can bet like what round they knock them out in, or will the round end by stoppage, or will it end by decision? You know what I mean? And you can bet it that way. Now there are some occasions like Showbiz the adult. He did this with Vasil Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, which I told him, sent them an email, I sent them 2 texts, I came in the chat, I was like, Showbiz, don't do it, brother. Don't do it. He bet $10,000 on Lomachenko.
Oh, what do he do for a living? No, sir. I'm joking. No, joking. I'm joking. No, you said a nigga put down 10 racks. I'm like, shit,
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't never put down $100.
Right. So,
Joking, joking.
look, explain it to you, Dion. This is why he did it. It was 4-1 odds, just like you said, but should Lomachenko win that fight, he basically letting Vegas hold 10,000, and then he'll collect $2,500. So you're getting money. That's a value in that, but you just got to let him hold on to 10. You generally want to do that when it's like a pretty much a shoe-in situation, but there ain't no shoe-ins in boxing as we seen there. So he got 10,000 on that fight. You know what I mean? They took that back. So got to look for the prop bets, I think, or parlays. Parlays are pretty good. 2 team or 3 team.
I'm fine with betting my friends and talking the fight over the phone. Yeah, nigga, give me my $30 small, nigga. Yeah, give me my money. Like, I like that type of betting. I'm not doing all that stuff, betting and all that other stuff.
Like,
But
would you like to
but
bet
I do.
a dollar? Would you like to bet a dollar and win $68?
No, because you said you got to pick what round. I don't know nobody well enough to say what round they're gonna get knocked out in. I can pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's hard to pick though. Yeah, he goes 7. He gets stopped in 4. Like that's
what's called group round betting. So
no, that's really gambling though. That's like when you go to Las Vegas, the stuff they do over there in them casinos. That is gambling. See, I like the fun gamble with my friends or people I know. Like, yeah, I got $30. We talk on the phone, watch the fight, then we go collect our money. It's much
So
easier. I ain't got.
what you think
Yeah.
about Jojo Diaz, and because that's the first fight I'm on, Jojo Diaz and Rakhmonov. Shavkat Rakhimov.
Well,
You
I don't know.
know,
I can't tell you right now because I don't even know the guy. I know Jojo Diaz, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, that nigga kind of like was putting them hands on Tevin Farmer. So I
yeah.
don't know the other guy. If I knew who the other guy was, that's why I said next show, I'll write his name down now and then I'll go look at him in next show. But for right now, I know Jojo Diaz and he was putting them paws on Tevin Farmer. And yeah, so. Oh yeah, I got
But
Jojo Diaz.
Rakhimov, yeah, Rakhimov is a Russian fighter. He coming out of Russia, and he's an undefeated fighter. He's 15 and I know he's 15 and no, I can't remember if he got 12 or 13 knockouts, but it's something like that. He's got a good amount of knockouts, and I think a lot of those guys. Here's my thing: like you look at where people come from and how people are built. Like people are built stronger, or people are built tough with chins and stuff like that. So I kind of assess some of that too. So I think this guy probably has decent power. And I've seen about 3 or 4 of his fights myself. That's about it.
Yeah,
So I don't.
that's what I said. I gotta check him out first. But like for right now, I got Diaz. But tomorrow's show, I'll have like the actual what I actual pick.
I think it's a 50-50 fight, to tell you the truth. Freddie G in the building. What's good? That boy D Jeff just cheap as hell. Yeah, all right, Freddie. I ain't trying to spend my money. $1 bet is all you get out of me, Freddie. Hell yeah,
I
why?
feel him, brother. I feel you, brother. Just $20, $30. But it's just the point that it ain't even about really betting for me. It's the point about I won. Haha, nigga, I told you he was gonna win. I
Right,
put
right,
the
right,
I
right.
put I put the fun with it. You know what I mean?
But see,
And
that's
then
why I do what I do, because I mean, the most I will bet in an entire weekend is like $6 to $7, and if I feel saucy, I'll bet 9 or 10. But they're all dollar parlays. You see what I mean? So I don't $10 I'll give away to kids in a day. Give this kid $3, this kid $2, this kid I'll give $10 away. So it ain't like it's no gamble. It's just like having some fun with it. You know what I mean? And then like when I come back, like the Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois situation, and who else was fighting that night? Well, anyway, I did a parlay with that fight, and it was Nakatani and Verdejo, and
oh, that was Nakatani's my man. I
yeah,
love him.
Nakatani and Verdejo, and it was Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. So I did a dollar parlay, right? And I picked Nakatani to win just by knockout. Nakatani by knockout, and I picked Joe Joyce to win in the 10th round. Only $1, right? And I took back $36.80. So it's 36 times my money. So if I would have bet $10 on that, I would have won $360. If I would have bet $100, I would have won $3,680.
Woo!
That's why I just do parlays, because it's fun. Like you ain't gonna get 36 times your money betting with friends or nothing like that. Like you gonna get the money you bet. You bet 50, he give you 50. If I bet $1 and hit on those parlays, I'm getting like 36 times my money. At 50 at $50, you're talking about $1,800, $1,700. You see what I mean? So yeah.
I know. Because I don't like gambling. I got a casino right up in here, like 2 hours away. I go to Foxwoods. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Yeah, bro. I got a
I don't.
casino 21 minutes away from me, Hollywood Casino,
That's what
right?
I mean. That's why I said I don't gamble, but I can. But it's just something about
Yeah.
gambling. It's like not good though. And it's
Yeah.
crazy because I was gambling when I was shooting dice on the block, when we was playing talk on the block. We was playing spades on the block, so. I did gamble a lot though, but
Same.
I just never gambled like nothing like professionally. But shit, I bet on anything. I bet on what time the bus is gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm a,
Say Britt said
I'm
you
a,
lying. Hold on right quick. Hold on right quick. Let me get to. Say Britt said you lying, D. You can't afford presents. You spend all your You spend it all on crack.
That was a good one, but why you watching a crackhead then? I wouldn't be on no crackhead's channel.
No, hey, I like the jokes. I invite the jokes. I don't get mad at that shit. I like the jokes. Samuel Shaw, Boxer Monster, all of them be ragging me. I appreciate the jokes. I like to laugh, man. So
It don't matter if I'm on this channel and you show that, I'm gonna have something good to say to him.
yeah, I mean that's it. I like the shit. Even if he ain't joking, if he trying to start something or whatever, the shit be funny to me. That's why I don't do all of that back and forth with a lot of cats. I mean, if it get like that, I'll just leave you alone. I won't talk to you. I won't come to your channel. Don't come to mine. I'll just leave you alone. But I'm not gonna get, I'll take it as a joke. Whether he's joking or not, it's funny to me, so I'm gonna laugh. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, and I promise you, bro, it ain't gonna be like I'm not gonna be rude. Like if they say something, you a crackhead, something like that. Like, yeah, well, why are you sitting over here? Like little small stuff. I ain't gonna be like a mean person, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna be your person. I'm gonna be your mouth. I want to be your mouth. They can't get mad at you for what I say. So
No,
I'm
they
gonna be
can't. You know what happens? Yeah, a lot of people DM me and shit about like certain comments or certain things people do up here. Which I try to tell my man Mark that, but he don't believe me. But Mark, trust me. But I get DMs all the time. Like people will DM me about St. Brent later. Why you sitting up there letting St. Brent call you a crackhead? And the thing is to me is because they would get offended by that shit. I always answer because I don't care. Why you let Johnny Boy call you a nigga on this channel? Because I don't care. Y'all motherfuckers get offended at words, bro. It's words. They can't do shit to me. And I literally don't care what people say out their mouths. So I don't like it's hard to get me offended by that shit. If St. Brid or somebody coming here and they trying to take a dig at me with comments like this to get me angry, well, you need to take another approach. You
But
better off
that's your panel's job is.
you're better off talking crazy about Teofimo to get me excited than to call me names. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll get me more
Yeah, your
excited.
panel got you. You don't gotta say nothing general. You don't gotta say nothing general. You let your troops take care of it. Your panel is your troops. Every other show I be on with a panel, the panel is the troops, so the boss don't have to say nothing. You don't gotta. You don't care about it, but we can address it.
Hold on, Diaz. Let me stop you right here. That's the element of those channels. I don't give a fuck. So I don't want nobody on this panel yelling at people in the fucking chat. Because it does, you know what that does, Hodges? It does what happened right now. The last 12 minutes, we've been talking about this shit instead of boxing. So let's get back to boxing.
Got you. Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah,
I like you, so I got you. I'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
If it don't bother you, it don't bother me.
No, it don't bother me at all, bro. They can say what the fuck they want. I don't give a shit. Mark, what do you think about Jojo Diaz? And Mark, is it Rakhimov or Rakhmonov?
Rakhimov.
Okay, it's Rakhimov. Okay. All right. So what do you think about Rakhimov and Jojo Diaz Jr.?
I think it's a good fight. I got an interesting question though. Is Rakhimov going to be allowed to use smelling salts in this fight?
I don't know. I don't even know what that reference refers to. So break it down for us.
I think it was his last fight. He was fighting in South Africa against Fuzili, an unbeaten guy. He was 14-0, and he was having a tough time. And going into the 8th round where he stopped him, his corner appeared to put something underneath his nose, and he started to get like really hyped up. It looked like smelling salts. Anyone who hasn't seen it, it's on YouTube. Go to the corner after round 7. Have a little look, you'll see him start going, and then he comes out and he goes crazy, picking up angles like he's Lomachenko, punching the shit out of the dude and knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that I don't know. That's not allowed, is it? To be putting
No.
Shit. Yeah.
No, it's not allowed. It's very, very illegal in boxing.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't think they allow no shit like that.
Will he be able to get away with that type of shit against Jojo Diaz? I don't know. He's a good fighter. He was a solid amateur. He's powerful, but I think Jojo should win the fight. But it's a 60-40 kind of fight.
Yeah. William Mason Jr. Said, who is this undefeated prospect? D, I don't fall for that undefeated shit, D. Here's the thing, Willie. I wasn't hyping up the undefeated. What I'm saying is the word that you put there, or the phrase undefeated prospect is the key, William. You don't know, and I don't know. That's why they're prospects. But what you called Rakhimov was a bump. You don't have to fall for the undefeated narrative because we know that there's a lot of padded records in boxing. We understand that. And I'm not trying to push any undefeated narrative on you. I'm saying when it's an undefeated prospect, which you have in your comment, as a prospect, that's why they're a prospect, William. You don't fucking know. You don't know if Rakhimov is good or if he's bad yet. This is why he's a prospect and he's undefeated. You have no clue. I have no clue. So to flat out call someone in that position a bum, how do you know he's a bum?
I'm about to go look at him right now.
Dude. I'll let you talk, but let me get this off real quick. William, I didn't say that Rakhimov is Teofimo Lopez or Tank Davis or Gilbert Chelt. I didn't say that. I just said that I don't know. But I damn sure didn't say he's a bum. Now, you made an assessment that he's a bum. But you don't know if he's good or bad. That's my whole point, William. You have no fucking clue if this guy is good or bad. And all I said is he's an undefeated prospect. He has knockouts, a decent knockout ratio, so we don't know, and we'll have to find out. That's all I said, William. Go ahead, Dehydrate. What was you going to say?
I was asking you how to spell the guy's name. I want to go look at it on my TV.
You can't see the screen? It's R-A-H. Hold on. It's R-H.
Hold on one. R-H. You said R-H.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me move this because I'm not. It's Rakhimov.
His first name is Shavkat. Shavkat. Rakhimov. Shavkat Rakhimov.
All right. Here you go.
All right, I'll figure it out. I'm watching it on my TV. Yeah, because I got like you got like YouTube on the cable thing, so I can watch it while I talk to y'all.
All right, I got you. So so Intangible, what do you think, bro? I know that you know about Rakhimov.
Yeah, I do.
You fucking know about all these obscure fucking fighters, bro.
In fact, I actually have him ranked amongst my top super featherweights. Rakhimov is a big test for Jojo Diaz because the guys Jojo Diaz has been able to defeat on the highest levels of guys he's fought, he's been able to overman and he's been able to crowd on the inside and defeat by out-muscling them and crowding. This is a guy, Rakhimov, who's very strong. He's got good size for the weight class. He's about 5'9", I think, 5'10". He's got a nice jab. He's very physically strong on the inside. He's an excellent body puncher. He has good power. This is a test for Diaz. Diaz is going to have issues.
Yeah. That's what I didn't know as much about him as you did, but like I said earlier, I watched about 3, maybe 4 fights of his. And I was like, man, he's going to be a good challenge for JoJo. Me personally, I have it 50-50. Mark said 60-40. I would be inclined to, entertain what Mark is saying because he probably knows a lot more about Rakhmonov than I do. But I'm just from what I looked at in the fight, I agree with your assessment, Intangible. I think he's going to be a tough test, man. And I think that people are overlooking this because they don't know anything about Rakhmonov.
He's also chinny, which Intangible left out.
Who's chinny? Rakhimov?
Yes.
Oh, that makes a difference. But Jojo Diaz ain't the biggest puncher.
He's gonna have to be on point. He's gonna have to be sharp.
All right. Yeah. Jojo Diaz,
which is something JoJo always is on point.
Yeah.
Right. But JoJo ain't the biggest puncher. Like, let's not.
No, but he hits harder than Rakhimov's previous opponents by quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, again, I don't know much about Rakhmonov, so I'm not arguing that. I just, again, man, that's why, again, like when we talk about these Diction League and shit, that shit like that, it gives Mark the edge over me. And I have no problem admitting that shit. That's what people got problem admitting shit that they don't know. It's those type of facts that Mark just gave that gives him the edge over me in the prediction league. Because I don't utilize none of that shit. I don't look it up. I don't try to find out. Look at these two motherfuckers fighting in the ring, and I make a pick. That's just that simple. I don't know about who his fucking opponents was and how tough their chin was or their body durability or none of that bullshit, fam. I look at two guys, assess a couple of fights, and I make my picks. So that's valuable information that Mark just gave us here. That Jojo Diaz most likely hit harder than the opponents that he's faced. That helps you assess a fight. I'm already looking at this fight differently, and I don't. A lot of times too, though, I don't even like fucking hearing information like that because I start to contemplate those things when I make my pick, and you know, but yeah, it's still stuff that we need to know about these fighters. Can't really. You can assess fights more accurately with that type of information.
I'll give you my official prediction right now. Jojo Diaz stops Rakhimov in round 11.
Yeah. Well,
It's a competitive fight. Rakhimov fades off after round 7.
yeah.
Jojo starts taking over, starts piecing him up round 9, 10. Referee steps in round 11.
But he said 11. Now I'm telling you guys, after looking at the footage with Rakhmonov, and see, I said round 9, Mark. That's why I said Jojo will probably take him in round 9. And that was just off of looking at these two guys fight. Now, with the extra information that Mark had, he says round 11. Well, shit, I feel pretty good about my assessment because I might probably only be 2 rounds off, or I might hit the motherfucker right on. You know what I mean? So just by looking at the fights, I feel really good about my assessment. Just by looking at these two guys fight, without knowing any of that other shit that Mark knew, I feel good about it. So yeah,
I'm gonna pick the person who's gonna win the fight. That's my official winner.
What you gonna pick them after?
Yeah, 100% win ratio.
That's a good strategy. Ringside Boxer MXBC said, D, if you had to choose between Ioka and Tanaka, who would you bet on? We're gonna get to that. Well, matter of fact, let's get to that now. I will start off with Ioka and Tanaka. I'm picking Kazuto Ioka to beat Tanaka. And I'm gonna stop there. I just wanted to answer Ringside's question. And I'll start with you, D. Hodges. Do you know Kosei Tanaka and Kazuto Ioka? He's probably watching the fight. Well,
No, I don't. I know. I don't really watch if they don't fight in America. I really never really watched it, so
yeah,
I
that's
don't.
fair.
I don't watch it. Huh?
Yeah, that's fair and respectable too. Because people get up here and try to posture when they don't.
Well, no, I do. I watch it a little bit now, but up here, you can't get too many England channels. There ain't no English boxing
Right.
channel up here. There ain't no anything boxing channel up here. The only thing up here, we see who we see. That's why, like you said earlier, that's why everybody be in the dock, because you just come up here and this guy got this miraculous record, but it was in another country. So that's why I said, dude, boxing should be watched in all the countries besides just US and England. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the most people that watch it, that talk about it and everything else. What about the little people? But I don't know. I think every country could make a boxing show if boxing was good like that. And they have money. You know what I'm saying? Because Saudi Arabia could have a whole, they could buy all the PBC fighters. He could buy the whole boxing if they want to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, you got to spread the boxing out to everybody, because that's how people don't know who to pick, because we don't know who they are.
Hey, Hodges, I just put in the private chat for you. I just put 3 streams. Those are 3 different streams. So when you can't find fights live or whatever, you go to those streams and you'll be able to watch it. Between one of the 3, you'll be able to get on most fights. Sometimes you got these fights in different countries where you just ain't gonna fucking get them. But a lot of the times you can get the majority of the fight using one of those 3 streams if you can't find it doing American stuff. So if you're interested, I'll put it in the private chat for you.
I'm about to go write them down now while you're talking. I'm about to go right there right now.
So moving on. Which one of you two guys want to go first? Because I know both of you guys have a difference of opinion on this fight, and both of you guys have a lot to say about this fight. Mark and Intangible. Either one of you guys. I know there's an interest level in the fight.
I'll let Mark go first.
All right, Mark.
It's a very good fight. It's an extremely good fight. A lot of people aren't paying attention to it like as much as they should, especially in the West. I get that it's a lower weight fight, but let's just talk about the significance of it first of all. Yeah. So this is a 3-weight champion taking on a 4-weight world champion. The 3-weight world champion, in terms of time spent, is the fastest person to become a 3-weight world champion in the history of the sport. He also did it undefeated and tied Lomachenko for the amount of fights specifically, but he did it quicker and he did it undefeated. And that's Kosei Tanaka. His opponent is the first and only male so far from the country of Japan to be a 4-weight world champion. Both guys have impeccable resumes, beating top pound-for-pound punchers on Kosei's side, like Angel Acosta. Kazuto Ioka has nothing short of a phenomenal resume in win, losses, and draws, with the likes of Primer Vecco, beaten twice. Fought against guys like Anna Romarong, Donny Nietes, etc. And arguably, unfortunately, probably won those fights. Wasn't given the decisions. Recently coming off of wins over young, large, fast-handed prospect over heavier Cintron, who is highly touted. Ioka is more of a parier, defensive, rhythmic fighter who likes to change the posture of a fight, likes to change where everything's going, likes to be in control of the complete time of the fight. Whereas Kosei Tanaka is more of a free-flowing fighter who'll use different angles and try and fight you on the inside, but gets a little bit lost defensively. So you're really having a young man versus an old man contest on, like, one guy has a superior ring IQ, one guy's physically better than the other guy. Ioka, the ring IQ type of fighter, Tanaka, the athletic, more proficient in angles and wearing people down. Now, the body punching style of Ioka is going to be very interesting because Tanaka, he's very open to the midriff, and he does show that he doesn't have the greatest timing, but he has very good spatial awareness. So he'll be able to throw off uppercuts and he'll be able to throw off hooks while they're up close. And it'll come down to the judges if one of these guys doesn't get a stoppage. And I don't think either guy will get a stoppage. Neither of them are massive punchers, and both of them have very good chins so far, even though they've both been dropped. One's been dropped more than the other in a half of the amount of fights. So it really makes you wonder, how's the fight going to go? I personally think if a stoppage would come, it would probably come from Kazuto more likely than Tanaka, just from the body punching array and slowing him down and making him a more hittable target while still remaining evasive, and possibly being by far the toughest task today. Whereas with Tanaka, you'd reckon if it goes the full distance, there's a possibility with upside. In a close fight, he'd be favoured on the judges' scorecards because he is the younger fighter. He has less of a reprehensible past in terms of honour over in Japan. And if he does win, he becomes the fastest 4-weight world champion in history, which makes him a star in Japan. A massive star. So all in all, the fight is extremely entertaining. I've got Kazuto Ioka. It could go either way. And whoever you're picking, you're really just either picking out of fandom, politics, or a pure guess.
Cool. All right. Intangible. What do you think, brother?
I think it's a true 50-50. The fight could go either way. I'll be honest. This is a fight that, if I didn't have a bias in it, it'd be really hard for me to pick. I'm picking the tiebreaker for me is me being a fan of Tanaka, but I think there's obviously certain things that Tanaka does do that Kazuto Ioka can exploit. Defensively, he can be good, but oftentimes he'll give up his defense. When he's not able to outbox you, he'll sacrifice his defense and just close the distance and try to, and he's very explosive when closing the distance, but he'll stay inside the pocket after firing combinations and allow return fire from his opponent. And that's going to be an issue against Ioka, because Ioka is very good at capitalizing after his opponent fires his attacks and being able to disrupt rhythm as his opponent is firing with his jab, or he can fire sort of a double left hook downstairs, then bring it back upstairs. Ioka's head movement is, he shows head movement, but it's still not always there consistently. He does fight a bit heavy on the front foot. And Tanaka's combination punching is something that I don't think Ioka has necessarily encountered. I don't think Ioka has countered a combination of Tanaka's counter punching, timing, speed, back foot punching, lateral movement. I don't think he's encountered that entire amalgamation. And he's going to get caught on his way in. He's not going to be as defensively. He's not encountering a guy like a Syntron who's going to be firing off one shot at a time. So, it's a tough fight.
Yeah, it is.
Look, he could be fighting a guy who, like Palikte, who fires off multitudes of shots from different angles and uppercuts as well.
He does, but Palikte isn't necessary. Palikte isn't nearly as coordinated, not nearly as accurate. He does have a fairly accurate straight right hand, and he's powerful, but he's not nearly as accurate, speedy, or coordinated as Tanaka. Well, and his punches he throws, his shots are very rangy. Like, he's not going to throw shots from up close, coming from sort of a blindside angle.
Yeah. I got, me personally, I have Kazuto Ioka winning this fight. I think that it's extremely close too. I've actually seen a lot of Tanaka fights. I've actually seen more of Tanaka fights than I have Kazuto Ioka, to be honest. But the fights that I have seen of Ioka, he's phenomenal. The fights that I studied of Ioka, looking into this Tanaka and Ioka fight, I more from him. And I think he gets the job done. But definitely going to be a great fight. It's definitely a fight that's on this list because I feel like it's one of those fights that's being overshadowed by the foolery that we talk about every day in boxing. Because these topics, like the glove gate and the Spence Crawford and the Devin Haney Teofimo, these topics don't go away. It's not like we could talk about them one day and then the shit is just going to disappear, because a lot of these guys have extreme hate. Terrence Crawford, he's got extreme hate going in his favor. Teofimo and, Wilder and Fury and Joshua. All of these guys got hate. So people are talking about most of the time. And, I've been guilty of this myself. And I'm going to do a better job at, because I know about these situations, but a lot of people don't. And I think I'm depriving the people by not talking about it, which is why I wanted to talk about these fights today, because I don't hear a lot of people talking about these fights. Fucking William Mason Jr. knows a lot about boxing, and he said he didn't even fucking know that Tanaka and I don't know, Tanaka and Ioka was on. He didn't even have a clue that it was on. So,
can I say something, Dave?
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, because we have a little bit of a platform right now, is anybody who's listening in and genuinely enjoys watching boxing, this is a beautiful clash of styles to watch. This is gonna be I'll give you an idea. This is gonna be a mini version of Wilfred Benitez versus Ray Leonard. And that's kind of how I see the fight going to some extent. I just don't even in terms of the experience levels, the age levels, the differences, the athleticisms, the different styles, the defensiveness. I know where Intangible's coming from in terms of the head movement with Ioka. It's not always there, but he is a parier, right? So he something that's an underrated art form is parrying defense, and he's, I would say, pound for pound, the number one parier in boxing. And I think a lot of people should have a look at that. Do you remember how Benitez used to use head movement and then parry shots to lay off his own shots? Like he'd parry off a shot and then land punches. Ioka's amazing at doing that. Amazing. And Tanaka, his ability when he gets like mid-range and up close, he can feint like a left hook throw and turn it into an uppercut and completely shift off the angle and change the entire side of the ring that you're fighting on in 2 steps. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and I urge people to watch it. I really do.
Right, bro. This fucking StreamYard, man. They got to do something about this, bro. I'll be at the bottom, and then I'll hit the damn thing, and it's like fucking 60 comments in there. I was at the bottom. I thought I was caught up, but anyway, I'm fucking way behind. Scythe Bud, what's good with you, Lance? Ross in the building. What's up with you, Ross? Boston Nick. Boxing Virus, what's good? What's good, Joe? What's good with you, Joe, in the building? Yeah, sorry guys, it's just the StreamYard and the YouTube. They ain't clicking, so the comments be way behind and shit. Cheeto in the building. What's good with you, Cheeto? Yeah, man. So yeah, man. I think both of these guys are very good fighters. Me personally, man, I I don't know if it's just me or not, but I see some defensive flaws in Kosei Tanaka that I believe Ioka's going to be able to exploit. That's why I have him over the edge in this fight. I think that Kosei Tanaka's going to get caught with some shots because he. I'm not saying that he's mentally he loses, but he just kind of like later in the rounds. What I've seen from him, he kind of gets a little loose and can't do that against a guy like Ioka, in my opinion, because he's going to exploit those things and take advantage of them. That's just what I see in this fight. He's going to exploit those defensive deficiencies and take advantage of them, and he has the wherewithal to take advantage of those things. And then I guess maybe it could be where experience comes in because if I'm not mistaken, Ioka's more experienced than Tanaka. So
He is.
Yeah.
In terms of the amount of fights, but
right.
Let's not shy away that Kosei Tanaka has spent more than half of his career fighting in world title fights.
Yeah. Wow.
He's experienced too.
Yeah.
Very experienced for such a young man.
Both guys
Of all of these
wars,
they've both been in there with some of the best fighters around their divisions. I mean, Tanaka's got a very, very good resume. So is he. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just being like straightforward. Both guys are phenomenal fighters. Any guy could legitimately win the fight. And like, I get where you're coming from. Tanaka has defensive lapses and he has defensive frailties, for lack of a better term. But Kazuto Ioka actually has something that nobody's paying attention to, and he actually has defensive frailties. When he gets too offensive, he becomes completely defensively null and void. He disregards it when he gets too offensive, and it means that he's completely open. And in those type of exchanges, you reckon the pace of Tanaka will be able to win him out those exchanges and nick around. So that type of stuff, and it will happen quite consistently in the fight. That's where Tanaka's going to be able to get most of his rounds, is by shining and hitting with uppercuts and getting the flashier shots off in those exchanges from the offensive deficiencies from Ioka. Whilst he's a brilliant defensive technician, he can't get overzealous with his attack. He is a good attacker, but he can get too overzealous and cost himself things.
Okay. Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to me. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a great fight. So we've talked about 2 of these fights, right? What in your opinion, competitive wise, right? Which fight do y'all believe so far is more competitive, Ioka and Tanaka or Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov?
Not only do I think it's more competitive, I think it's a much higher quality fight, Ioka and Tanaka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would definitely agree with quality value. Definitely that. But sometimes, you can get like where guys are stylistically matched up well, even though it's higher level opponents, they're still 2 very competitive fights. So I was kind of looking at it in that aspect here. You know what I mean?
Let me say this.
right? I think not only is it higher quality, I think in terms of the ability, technically a better fight. When I look at like Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov, I think that's a fight that will be competitive for 6 rounds, and then you'll start seeing somebody completely dominate. Whereas with Tanaka and Ioka, there's going to be a lot of back and forth and a lot of rounds that'll be very difficult to score.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So we got some responses on this fight in the chat. Let me see. Ross Purdy says, who people got Ioka or Tanaka? Oh, that's what we talk about now, Ross. William says he has Tanaka by decision. Okay, that's cool. Boxing Virus says he has Tanaka. Cheeto says Ioka is 9-1. Is he really a 9-1 favorite? Damn, I might.
No, Ioka to stop Tanaka is 9-1. It's kind of intangible. Real quick, intangible. It's kind of interesting to me that the bookies have Ioka as a 9-1 to stop Tanaka, but they have Tanaka 3-1 to stop Ioka. And I would have assumed if a stoppage comes from this, I would just assume based on what I've seen so far, Ioka has a better chin.
Oh, okay. Wayne Hennessy.
I also think he's a bigger puncher.
It's really weird odds because Tanaka Kimura was actually opening. Kimura versus Tanaka was actually opening at closer odds than this fight. Ioka, Mark mentioned this once. Like Ioka actually tends to come into fights at really low odds. Like he was even. He opened at even with Javier Cintron. He was the underdog against Arroyo and closed as the underdog against Donny Nietes. Like that's he doesn't get a lot of favoritism from the casinos.
No, he doesn't. He's one of these fighters where the bookies seems to be pretty poor. Like imagine a guy who's a 4-weight world champion being evens with a prospect.
Yeah.
And he's a legitimate 4-weight world champion. Like it's not like fucking Broner, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Let me So Wayne says, I want Ioka to win, but I think Tanaka will win. Yeah, Wayne, that was the same situation I was in with Felix Verdejo and Mesel Shinakatani. I wanted Felix Verdejo to win. A bit biased fan, Puerto Rican side of him or whatever. So it was a bit biased in there. But I didn't utilize bias when I assessed the fight because I picked Masayoshi Nakatani to win by knockout. But I was rooting for Felix Verdejo. And when Felix Verdejo, I was doing the card, Wayne. I think you might have been there, maybe not, because you come to a lot of the fights. But when I was doing the card, you know how I do, I tell everybody, all right, put y'all picks in who y'all got winning before the fight started. And of course, I said I got Nakatani winning by stoppage. I think I picked like the 7th round or some shit. And when Felix Verdejo knocked him down, I just got all kind of excited. I was like, he knocked him down because I wanted Felix Verdejo to win, right? But then when Nakatani came back and started putting that work on Felix Verdejo, I didn't get upset because that's what I expected Nakatani to do. So I expected him to fucking stop his ass. And that's what happened. So, it is what it is. I get that.
He didn't get dropped twice.
Yeah, he got dropped twice.
And that's why I respect him. That's why I had to check everybody on every channel this morning. Man, that's fight of the year. This dude, he got dropped twice badly, got up to still knock a person out. But just because he's whatever he is, they don't want to give him no credit like the new way.
No. D Hodges.
Yeah, hold on.
It could. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was getting ready. No, you go ahead, because I was getting ready to say something to him too. Go ahead.
Yeah, probably the same thing. I was just gonna say it probably could be a fight of the year, but don't forget Baranchik and
Yeah,
Zepeda.
exactly.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying Takatani, like that's a fight we'll remember for the rest of this year forever. Because I never seen a man get knocked down like that, get up and then come back and still stop him the way he did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. B. Hodges, hold on. If you never seen that, then you didn't see the Baranchik and the Zepeda fight because they got knocked
No,
down
I didn't.
4 times apiece, fam. 4 times
Oh
apiece.
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't even know who them two people are, but
That's why
I didn't
sometimes,
even.
man, hold on, D. Hodges. That's why sometimes when somebody talking, you gotta listen to what they saying because you'll just start going off and you don't hear that. The Baranchik and Zepeda fight was 4 knockdowns apiece, fam. And you're talking about a fight that was 2 knockdowns and he comes back and wins.
No, I just said for me. I said for me, I don't know about that other fight. I never watched it, seen it. I'm just saying for me, that would be my fight of the year. It's a bunch of fights I ain't watched.
Baranchik versus Zepeda and see if you have that same position. And
Well,
there's
it could be comeback of the year. It gotta get some type of award. Comeback of the year, or something though. Like,
Well,
because
Zepeda got dropped twice in round one in that fight, and he went on to win it. And he was dropped 4 times and dropped his opponent 4 times, and he was dropped twice in the first round.
yeah, that's a war. So yeah, if that happened this year, that's definitely number one.
well,
But I get
there's another fight that happened this year. One of the guys is right up here, and I don't know if you've seen it, but go watch Juan Francisco Estrada fight in Quadras. Quadras not only dropped him, but he dropped him seriously. It was a serious dropping in the earlier part of that fight, and Estrada came back and beat his ass.
so anything could happen. So that's when people be saying about people's chin, you got a chin. If you can get back up, you got a chin. And then you get up 2 times, oh, you got a granite chin. Because I don't care how no pillow fisted puncher is gonna knock you down like that. You got hit by somebody with some power where they put you completely on your back, not the little glove hit the floor or you just sit down. No, that stretch you out and you got to sit back up like you're doing the sit up.
Yeah, that Juan Francisco Estrada fight when Quadras knocked him down, I thought Estrada was in fucking huge trouble, man. I was like, oh my god, because that was a terrible knockdown. But Estrada, man, that dude heart is the size of a lion, fam. That dude got up, got his feet back under him, and he didn't. And to tell you the truth, that round he got knocked down in, he didn't get his feet back under him in that particular round. Like he had to survive that round, and I guess the minute in the corner was probably enough for him. He danced around a little bit coming out to that next round, but then he got his feet back under him and started putting work on Quadras. But even still, like it was a good fight, man. That was a hell of a fight. If you ain't see that, D. Hodges, I guarantee you're gonna love that fight. As a matter of fact, watch the one right before it too, because Chocolatito fought Israel Gonzalez, and that was a fucking war, fam. Like both of those fights, and they were back to back on the same card. The Hodges, Chocolatito fought before Juan Francisco Estrada, and then right after that, Francisco Estrada came and put on that show. It was fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I try to catch it as much as I can and for free because I'm not pay per view. So, but now that you hook a brother up, now I can watch them all. It's just I'm a person I didn't know about that, so I wasn't paying all that money for fights and all that and subscriptions and all that. So now it's fine. I definitely watch them now, though. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. I got this book, not the one I used to camera on, but another book. My man, I think it was Preston hooked me up with. But you can watch like sporting events through the books, bro. They got like you can watch every fucking thing, fam. Like every.
This is what I wanted to ask you because I was looking at like my boxing, what comes up, and there's fights on the PBC, and there's only 2 with names. I want to know, like, I don't know really. I think Eric Castillo, I think I know him, but I want to get your opinion on these just 2 fights.
What you
Just
trying to?
Oh, it's a guy named it's on PBC, Fox 25 Sports, Fox
When?
1, Omar Juarez versus Eric Castillo.
Oh
You
my!
ever hear them? You ever hear those people?
Yeah, Omar Wars, he just was on one of our cards and shit, man. Man, it too. Castillo, I don't know much about him. Mark, you are intangible. Know much about Castillo? I know about Omar Juarez.
I don't know much about Castillo, but I know Omar Juarez.
Yeah, I know Juarez. I don't know much about Castillo either. D Hodges, and it could be that he just
And then there's another fight, a guy named
fighter.
it's called David. Now I'm just giving y'all it's David Morrell Jr. versus Mike Gavronsky. Do y'all know David Morrell
Yeah,
Jr.?
Yeah,
I know
I
both of
know.
them.
Okay, well, intangible, you can speak on the other guy because I know about David Morrell.
Okay, and the other guy is Mike Gavronsky.
Mike Gavronsky, he's a gatekeeper around those weight classes.
Okay.
I believe he's been used for other prospects in the past. David Morrell's a pretty solid Cuban fighter. Like, he's not. Some people he really impresses. You know, he's solid to me. You know, he's not amazing. He doesn't absolutely wow me. He doesn't. I mean, he doesn't really leave a massive impression on me. He's a good fighter. He should get the win here.
And he's just new though, D Hodges. Now, one thing I know about Morrell, because I don't know about the other guy, but Morrell got like 4 fights maybe. He's just turning pro. He's not been on the pro circuit for so long. But he does show promise, so I'm not sure.
Because he got a good record though. His record's 3-0 and 2 with knockouts. And the other guy and the other guy record, Mike Gravowski, is his are not bad, 26-3-1. So if he beat him, that's a good beat because he had way more fights. So he has more to prove. Mike, whatever his name is, Mike got way more to prove. 26-3-1. Oh, you better not lose to no 3-0 and you beat his. He go 4-0 with 3
Yeah,
knockouts.
but he's going to lose. He's in there to lose.
Yeah, that's why they put him in there, D Hodges, because that's what they do with these promising young fighters. They put him in there with fighters that's been around the block. And
Dave
And that's
Morrell
what I
was an amazing amateur. He was an amazing amateur.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying though, they like, yep, there's 26-3 guys. So if he beat them, there can't be no nothing. That's all I'm saying. I don't know neither one. I never watched either one fight, but if the 3-0 kid beat the veteran, then he's ready to step it up a little bit. But now, if shit go wrong and this veteran uses, because it can happen, that veteran, all them fights use them veteran skills, and then morale lose, and then if you can't beat an old veteran, then your stock go down. So they both got something to prove because whoever loses, it's bad. But no, not really for the old guy because he's old. Yeah,
but D Hodges, I think you're missing the point, fam. These fights,
he's 3-0 with 2 knockouts. He better not lose to Mike Gravowski. That's all I said.
Right, you finished?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm about to go on mute.
All right. Now, only thing I was saying is like, that might be your perspective, and I get it. I'm not arguing against that, but I want people to listen and then they come to the channel to get the right perception of what's going on here. It's a promising prospect being sent in by a guy that's been around the block. So it's not like I don't know how much Castillo, whatever the guy is, Giovansky, whatever you said his name. I don't know how much it is there he has to prove. They're putting the younger guy in there to step up, to keep going in the right direction. So, like, if you take a Tank Davis, which people love, right, and you put him in there with a guy that's 26-3-1, you're expecting Tank to get the job done and move forward, continue to move forward. That's essentially what we have here. So it's not like if anybody has something to prove, in my opinion, it's David, bro, because he's on the track uphill. You understand what I'm saying?
Not because if he get beat by that guy, that's what I was just saying. If he get beat by this guy, oh boy, you can't even get past him. You're definitely not going to get nowhere near the elite. So
that'd be very bad. It would be very bad considering he's actually he's taking a step down in opposition. His last opponent, Lennox Allen, is better than him.
Right. But again, for the people that don't fucking know boxing, so that I don't get excited here, Diaz. They need to understand this is the process of bringing up younger fighters. Okay, so I get what you're saying, Diaz, but the people that's coming into boxing and why they get so fucking lost, man. You got Tank Davis at 24 and 25-0 with 24 knockouts, and they get so fucking lost with the process of boxing, D. Hodges. It's because they don't understand these things, right? So this is a fight that he is supposed to win and continue to go uphill. That's all. That's. I just want to make sure that that perception is pushed out when we talk about these fights, bro. Not our personal opinions and shit, because that's where people get lost of how this sport works and why people are fighting certain people and so forth. Like this dude is fighting him to beat him and to move forward. So I think
Yeah,
that
but I'm just saying
okay,
the
Johnny,
old guy has
let
the
me
old
finish,
guy
man.
has
Let
not.
me finish, dog. Like, come on now. Don't. I hate the fucking. You go ahead and talk. I'll talk after you. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no. I just was saying that
Go ahead.
the
Go ahead,
old
fam.
guy
Your
has
floor.
nothing to prove or nothing to lose. If he win, I mean, if he lose, yeah, he got beat by the young buck. But now, if he beat the young buck, oh, he might could rejuvenate his career. But now, the young buck, it's the pressure's on him because he has to win. And you gotta kind of win willingly enough, because even if you struggle, then that's when mad people like change up. So it's more pressure on the 3-0 guy. The old guy, he's just going in there, get a payday, win or lose or draw. He's still winning. The pressure's on the other guy.
Right. And for anybody listening, if the old guy beats a guy that's 3-0, it does absolutely zero for him. That's what. See, that's where I don't want it to be a disconnect, Deontay. It don't do
Well,
shit for the older guy that beat up a guy that's 3-0, in my opinion. This
well,
is
it does something. It does do something for him. Can I
okay.
explain?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is a world title fight.
The vacant belt.
Yeah, vacant WBA regular.
Okay. Right. So Demetrius Andre collected a belt and a vacant title fight. I don't revere him now. So to me, once again, now, and I don't think like again, if we get, I don't know, man. I'm not even gonna go into it. To me, it doesn't mean much. So yeah, he'll win a belt, and that does mean something. I agree with Mark. But as far as who he is, you know, his danger level in boxing, how I would rate him, it don't mean a fucking thing, fam. Belt's on the line, but okay, fine. The vacant title fights against a prospect don't mean shit to me. I think David's lucky to be.
True, Lomachenko wasn't he champion by like 12 fights?
What you're gonna fucking do is start all of this goddamn cutting me off, bro. Because now I'm like intangible done did it a couple of times. Mark did it a couple of times. Now you doing it, the It's like if y'all want to talk, go ahead and talk. But when I'm in the middle of a statement, bro, please stop cutting me off. Cause then I'm gonna fucking get a little excited over that shit here. Like all three of y'all did it already, and I ain't said shit. I just let y'all go. But like, let's not do that shit, bro. Because that ain't how it happens over here on this panel. I mean, I know a lot of panels in the YouTube community, and I'm the baby in this community, so I know this is how it works in the community. Yeah, fine, not on this fucking show. So if y'all want to talk, go ahead and talk. Just do me a favor and don't fucking cut me off when I'm in the middle of my goddamn statement. That's, I mean,
I
I
apologize.
think it's
I
small.
apologize. I apologize, my brother.
Yeah, I just think it's a small request. Lance, I didn't know that there was some fights on Saturday, but I'm glad it is because I'm gonna do the card, fam. I was kind of upset that we didn't have no fights this weekend, or I thought we didn't have any fights this weekend because we don't have any picks for the prediction league. But shit, I'm damn sure gonna do that card. But yeah. So anyway, man, Kosei Tanaka and Ioka is a fire fight. I think that Jojo Diaz is a good fight. Now, in my opinion, and maybe Kosei Tanaka and Ioka could be equivalent as far as competitiveness, but my interest level personally, I'm more interested in Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada simply because I'm a big fan of Chocolatito. I like Kosei, Tanaka, and Ioka, and I like Juan Francisco Estrada as well. But I'm a big fan of Chocolatito. So this fight, is super intriguing to me. Um, you know, part two, right? So I'll let you guys now. I know you know these two guys, right? D Hodges, Chocolatito, and Estrada.
I don't know. I just like Chocolatito. Whatever. That's guy. I always go for him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Estrada's okay too, but I don't know. Chocolatito seems all right to me. So and I'm glad that's one that I know the two people, but that Chocolatito dude, he never like seems to like surprise me though. He's all right. I'll go with the Chocolatito guy.
Yeah, that's a tough fight for either guy, Chocolatito or Estrada. It's a good fight for both.
Estrada's a beast.
Yeah,
I know I watched his fight. See, this is two people I know, and it's a 50-50, but it's just this Chocolatito guy or whatever. Yeah. Guy, when I first watched him, I thought he was black. I ain't gonna lie. Until when he came out, I'm like, oh shit, he's whatever he is, a dark Hispanic.
Hispanic.
I was like, yo, yeah, he's cool. I like Chocolatito. I'm a fan of his. So I'll go Chocolatito. I like him.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Estrada's still good too, though. I can't remember who the people they fight because I don't know the other people, but I'm pushing a little 50-50, but I'm pushing a little bit to Chocolatito.
All right, well, let me tell you this. This is what you ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna keep calling that man no Chocolatito, man. It's Chocolatito, like chocolate.
I was trying to sound it out. See, that's the way us black people. CHO. No, it's CHOCOLATITO. Chocolatito. So that's what
chocolate. Like
I
chocolate.
got it now. I got it now, but at the point, that's what it looked like. It's spelled on the screen, Chocolatito, and that's what a lot of people call him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is a banger.
That's
though, bro.
why I thought he was a black guy, Chocolatito. The way I read it and pronounced it, and then when he came out and watched him fight, he's from a dark Spanish place, where they're dark skinned. I just don't remember which one, but yeah, I thought he was black at first.
Did you see the first fight? Did you see the first fight, Diaz?
His first fight? No, I watched him like I forgot. See, I hate that question because I remember a fight, but it's like I can't remember the people that they fought. But the first,
like 8 or 9 years ago, they fought.
no, I'm just saying no. The Chocolatito guy, and I'm 42. That'd be nice. I don't remember, but I know it was a fighter he fought, and I thought he was black because his name was Chocolatito.
Oh, okay.
That's the way they pronounced it. So come on now, just the chocolate in it, dog. Chocolatito, like, oh, that nigga might be But then I seen him, and that work fits for him. Chocolatito. He's chocolate, but he's still elite though. Now I understand his name. That's a smooth ass name, Chocolatito. I'm Choco and I'm Lito. So I understand now. But I used to call him that because that's the way the name is spelled if you try to sound it out. But I got it now.
I got you. All right, intangible. Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada.
Hell of a fight. I'm not going to release my pick just yet. I will release my pick at some point, but I'm not going to do it yet. All I'm going to say is I'm just going to explain both guys can win the fight, but the way I see the fight, I believe the winner is going to win by stoppage. I have a pick. I'm just not going to release it yet. I believe the winner will win the fight by stoppage late. I believe that both guys have shown more vulnerabilities as of late. In Chocolatito's case, he's a guy who's physically, I think, deteriorated just a little bit. I think his gas tank isn't quite the same. And I think Estrada being more youthful, if he's able to encounter Chocolatito in a firefight inside the pocket, and is getting in with combinations and is able to set a pace with his foot speed and footwork and angles, he might be able to overwhelm Chocolatito, have him gassed out, and might be able to beat him on accumulation. However, Estrada is, while he has beautiful rhythm, timing, footwork, counterpunching, defensively he has lapses. Chocolatito has excellent timing and punching power. If he catches Estrada in the middle of exchanges, he could drop him just like Quadras did. He could catch him with uppercuts. Estrada does tend to keep his chin a bit too high when he's entering the pocket. Because the way he fights, which is a little bit free-flowing in a similar way to how Tanaka's is, defensively he has lapses where he'll enter on straight lines, he'll keep his chin too high. Chocolatito could catch him, he could drop him. It could be early, it could be late. All I'm saying is I don't think this fight goes the distance. I think a late stoppage occurs.
Yeah. And in the favor of who? You don't. Oh, that's right. You say you're not gonna give it up yet.
I'm not gonna give it away yet. I have a pick, but I'm not gonna give it away.
I got you. Mark, what do you think? Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada.
Who we talking about?
Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, and Juan Francisco Estrada.
Oh, okay. Juan Estrada versus Chocolatito, yeah? Yo, I don't know much about them, man.
Bullshit. I'm calling you on straight bullshit because we've talked about them before. You trying to dumb down my life?
Who are those two bums?
Hold on. You trying to dumb down my life, Mark?
Not really able to.
I don't believe that you don't know anything about these two guys. But
Okay.
we'll move on then. We'll move on. Now, okay. Mark knows about damn near everybody in boxing, but these two guys he doesn't know much about. I cannot believe that. But anyhow, I'll pick it up because again, do this for hours. So this fight is huge. Here's something that they both have an opponent in common. One guy never beat him. The other guy avenged his loss to him. And I don't know how much significance this plays in this fight, but they've both fought this guy more recently than they fought each other, right? So, I don't think, like, again, with me, it don't really play much into this fight because I don't get into triangle theory. But what was that guy from Thailand that they fought?
Srishtiket Sorong Pasai.
Huh?
Srishtiket Sorong Pasai.
Wrong Versailles?
Yes.
No, is that the guy I'm talking about?
Yes.
He
Both of
fought-
them fought Thai guy.
Okay. Yeah. He beat Chocolatito twice. Juan Francisco Estrada actually beat him once. So I think that Chocolatito, in my opinion, has better defense and a bit better defense. And I think that Francisco Estrada has a bit better offense between the two of them. Still an interesting fight, man. What do you pick? It's two sides of sport, like every sport, defense and offense, right? So what do you pick, the defensive guy or the offensive guy? Because they both are good on both sides of the ball. I just think that Chocolatito is a bit better defensively and Strada's a bit better offensively. And then their fight 8 or 9 years ago, they've both done well since their matchup. They've both done well. If I'm not mistaken, one of y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Their only losses came to the same guy, right?
Well, yeah, both of them lost to Wrong Versailles, but Estrada's also lost to Chocolatito and Juan Carlos Sanchez.
Yeah, well, I know. My question was, since they fought each other,
yes,
their only losses came from the same guy, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not much. Like, that's why I don't put much on the Wrong Versailles fight, and they've both been doing well. I can't really assess the fight comparing them from their last fight because neither of these guys are the fighter they were 8 years ago. Neither of them, right? So it's just gonna be really interesting this fight. I'm biasly picking Juan Francisco Estrada. I think it's a 50-50 fight. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, man. It's one of these situations for me where almost like Kosei Tanaka and Ioka, where it's a tough fight to pick. But I don't have a horse in the race with Ioka Tanaka and yeah, Ioka and Tanaka. I don't have a horse in that race. I like both guys, but I just think that Ioka's going to win this. When it comes to Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada, I do have a horse in the race. I think that they're evenly matched, but because I have a horse in the race, I'm going to pick Juan Francisco Estrada. Now, as far as that, guys, I dropped a damn flame on my damn cover, but get ready to burn myself up. But anyway, when it comes to this fight, man, I think either of these guys could win this fight, fam. I think either of these guys could win this fight. And looking at that last card that they were on together, coincidentally, both guys showed a lot, man. Both guys showed they still got a lot in the tank, too. Chocolatito showed he got a lot, and Juan Francisco Estrada definitely showed he got a lot after getting dropped like that. What was it, the second round, guys? Or the first round that Quadras got him in? Do y'all remember?
Second round.
Second round, right. And after he took that, got back up, shit, he got a lot more to go with him too. So these guys got a lot of fights and everything, but to me, they still got more to give, and that's going to be an explosive fight. And all three of these fights are going to be good. And like I started it off in the beginning, man, Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov is probably the least of these three fights, but I still find them extremely interesting. I find that one extremely interesting. Here's a question: do y'all guys know the dates on these fights?
December 31st, March 13th, and February 6th.
Now that's 3 dates. Would you like to apply them to the fights?
Oh, yeah. Specific, of course, Ioka versus Tanaka, December 31st. Chocolatito Estrada, March 13th. February 6th for Diaz versus Rakhimov.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
By the way, I think it was round 3 in the Quadras Estrada fight.
Round 3, okay. Okay.
But I would love you to do a card, big guy, for the Warriors thing. Do a show because I could watch it with you and commentate. The Omar thing because it's on Fox Sports 1. That's like a lot. Everybody can watch it. If you ain't got Fox Sports 1, then you must be in a third world country because it's free. So
no,
yeah,
you got to at least have cable or something, or Roku or some shit like that.
So I know they got Hulu, Roku, they got all that.
There's some poor fucking people in this country. They might not even have that.
No, I just was saying for the people that the people that
Fox Sport 1.
I know. I was
with like
just saying you could do a nice show on here because you see we all could watch it. So just do a show that night.
No, I already said I'm doing the fight, motherfucker, because I want boxing. I'm doing the fight. I didn't even know that it was a fight until you just told me.
No, it's free. It's on Fox Sports 1.
Okay, the money don't fucking matter, Ehadis. Jesus Christ, sometimes, bro, it's like you're not listening. I don't give a shit about pay-per-view or the fight being free. What I'm saying is I didn't realize it was a fight this weekend. Period. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to do the fight because there is boxing this weekend. And the prediction league, Champ Ross was like, it ain't really fights. I don't really know. That's one thing I don't track. It's like when the cards. That's why I asked Intangible or Mark if they knew the dates, because that's something I don't keep up with. Bro, I ain't no fucking computer. I mean, it's a lot of people that run around fucking YouTube that want to fucking put it on like they know every fucking thing. I never try to do that, fam. I never try to do that because I don't want people asking me questions like I'm no fucking boxing encyclopedia, because I'm not. There's a lot of times I don't know when a fight is happening. I don't know who's fighting who. I didn't know a fight was announced. And I don't have a fucking problem admitting that. So I will easily say, hey, Mark, you know when that fight is? Intangible. You know when that fight is? I didn't know it was fights this weekend. I had no clue. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't putting up.
I got Estrada.
You got Estrada.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to
I
explain?
get on my fault, bro. I just
Hold
was giving you an
on.
idea of if you got the channel. I was giving you an idea of give a fight commentary thing about it, and you got everybody that could watch it with you, and we could all sit on the panel.
Well,
Whoever
you know,
got
I
it.
do fights like damn near every weekend, though, right? Do you know that?
No, but this is a special one. It'll be after Christmas. It's
Yeah, the Hodges. My point is, do you know that I do live commentary fights like damn near every weekend?
oh well, I don't be knowing. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so that's what I'm trying to explain to you, fam. I don't give a shit about the money. The reason I want to do the fight is because that's what I do. I do fight commentary, blow by blow commentary, all the time. I just this last weekend I did the fight. Sometimes I do 2 cards in one day, fam. Like I love doing the fight. So when you told me that this was a fight that was happening, I was all over it. I didn't know before you said that though. Even
Of
if it
course,
was,
I didn't know until I went to show my thing. I got this thing on cable where like you go through and I could look all the fights, the next fight into like January something after this one. But yeah, it's like yeah, they got the thing on my cable, and I'd say it. Ask anybody, I'd be like, "Yep, this fight's coming up for the people that got it. If it's on ESPN or Fox Sports One, I got them."
oh
I,
yeah, it's plenty of avenues to find that shit. I know plenty of avenues. You go to CBS, ESPN, fucking the sanctioning body sizes. A lot of fights you can find, fight schedules and where they plan like for the whole fucking year. I know I can, but I don't spend my time researching that shit. I don't because there's too much other stuff I gotta talk about and
I
dig
just
into
was
it.
saying, you got
I don't
enough
spend no
time.
time.
I
I don't
was.
spend no time and looking into all of that bullshit.
No.
I'll know when they're coming up
Cause
because other
you
people
see the people on your panel and chat know who the fighter
dude, what the fuck?
me. I should have put it the wrong way. I
Still,
mean, can you do it for me so I can sit up there and I can watch the fight too with you? I'm sorry, I phrased it all wrong. If you have enough time, like for the Saturday fights, you know, while you're doing your commentary, I can sit up there and chill with you because I can watch it. Believe me, I will not cut you off at all or nothing
I
until
don't
the
believe you because you keep doing it today, dog. I
no,
don't
no,
believe
no,
you
but
at all.
no, because
I
this is a
don't
whole.
believe you 1 second
I
when it
promise.
comes to that shit.
I,
Not one
I
second.
promise. No, I promise, bro. I will
Yeah.
not say nothing to the end of the round. I promise on my life. I
Yeah.
will not talk during the round. I will
Well,
talk
we'll see about that, Dehaza, because here's
if you
another
can. No, if you can.
okay.
You know.
Yeah, well, see, I don't believe you. I'll tell you that, bro, because I don't think you do it intentionally or purposely, but you have a bad habit of cutting people off. I don't think you're doing it on purpose. I really don't. Well, habits are habits, and habits are hard to break. But here's something else you'll have to understand. When I do the blow by blow commentary, I generally don't have people on the panel. That's not how I run mine. Like I will invite Mark. Mark has an open invitation because he does very well with blow by blow commentary. And then every now and then I will invite a guest to do either the breakdown in between the fights or to do round by round blow by blow commentary with me. Intangible, I mean not intangible, IBT, Immortal Boxing Truth. He does terrific analysis. So when he comes on, he doesn't really he feels like I do the blow by blow better. And he would rather sit back and do the analysis. Also, Get This Smoke is another one. He would rather do the analysis. So maybe we could do something like that. But I will tell you this, sir.
No,
And
I'm
like,
just
no, hold
saying.
on.
I will act. All you gotta do is ask me who won the round. I promise. I will not talk.
Look at you. Look at you. Look at you.
No, I know because I've been trying to explain to you. I swear to God on my life.
You promising me you won't, and you doing it fucking now, fam.
I thought you was done. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I couldn't have been thinking I was
But
doing
it's different when the fight and ding ding. I can keep my phone on mute until the end of the
yeah.
round.
That's why I
And
probably won't work, fam. Like that.
no, I swear to God it will.
On my fucking live
No,
commentary.
because I don't
So
want to, I'm not like that. I promise. I will be
check this
on
out.
mute.
Check this out. I'll take your word for it, right? But you
Yeah.
understand this. I'm gonna let you on there, right? I am gonna let you on there, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as you cut me off, I'm kicking you off.
I'm not until you
I
ask
don't
me
care. I
one.
don't care. You can make a promise. As soon as you cut me
No,
off, I'm kicking you off.
I'm gonna be on mute until you say D Hodges who you won the round, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion who won the round. That's all I want to do. I'm not trying to say
Yo,
who's throwing. That's
respectfully,
all. I
man,
swear to God, that's all I'm gonna
I
do.
got you. I got you. Respectfully, I don't believe you. I just gotta tell you that.
Well, can you give me a chance, dude? Like, at least
I'm
let
gonna
me.
give you a chance. I'm gonna bring you up there this weekend. I'm gonna
Okay,
give you a
and I'm gonna
chance.
prove
I'm
to
just
you. I'm
telling
gonna
you,
be on mute.
I don't fucking believe you, dude. Because it seems like you can't help it, man. It's just like Troy Graham. And I don't get mad, bro. Like with Troy, I guess he thought I was mad. I ain't mad at y'all motherfuckers, but I'm gonna cuss y'all out. I'm gonna talk shit. Troy ain't been over here for a while because this motherfucker cannot refrain. And it ain't just me. That motherfucker cuss everybody off, right? And so I got on it one day and he ain't been back over here. Well, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like I gotta create an element here because this channel is gonna grow and grow and grow. And I know that there's gonna be times when we're gonna have 9 and 10 people on this goddamn panel. And I cannot have Troy Grahams, D Hodgeses, and fucking get this smokes cutting everybody the fuck off. Cause you three motherfuckers, man. y'all cut a motherfucker off in a heartbeat, dog. It's all good though. It's all good. Cause I will utilize the backstage button really quick. But yeah, man. But Mark Arrival with the contribution to the Speaking Mind Sports Talk family. Appreciate you. Said thanks for having me on. Appreciate you coming on, Mark. I do wish you give the people a little more breakdown sometimes though, because you know a lot about this sport, man. And there's 1 or 2 answered questions, man. I think you could do a lot better than that, Mark. That's just my opinion. I have no problem with it though. 1 answer questions is fine. Like I tell everybody, I can talk by my goddamn self for 4 hours. I can. What's up? What's up, Day Game?
Oh man, just cooling it, just cooling it, just jumped in. I don't even know the topic, man. I just pulled up. What's popping? What's going on?
All right. Well, this is what I'm talking about today. So it's these 3 great fights I want to put on that's coming up, right? That as I surf around, because I think now the count of channels between boxing, basketball, and MMA, I'm probably subscribed to 190 channels. So I surf around to boxing channels. And I don't hear a whole lot of talk about these 3 fights, because it's the constant bickering and arguing about Crawford and fucking Spence or Wilder and Fury or Themo and Haney or, all of this dumb shit. This person ducking, that person ducking, and all of that. And we're missing out on these great fights that we get ready to have. All of these fights are great. And so I just wanted to talk about them. The first one is Jojo Diaz and Shavkat Rakhimov. They're going to be fighting for the title, for JoJo's title. And I think it's a really good fight. A lot of people don't know a lot about Rakhmonov, and so they're not giving him much chance. Somebody came in here and called him a bum, but he's 15 and with like 12 or 13 knockouts, and he's a good prospect. So I think he's going to offer Jojo Diaz some troubles because of the fight analysis I did on him. He can fight. The guy can fight. So, well, Mark and Intangible came and he said his chin might be suspect. And also he said he thinks that JoJo hits harder than anybody that Rakhmonov has faced so far. Then we got Kosei, Tanaka, and Ioka, and then Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada. So that's what we're talking about today. Fights that's being overshadowed by the foolery that we talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. There's one fight, man. There's a fighter. Ever since I started messing with these parlays, man, I've been looking at these boxers that I've never really seen before, man. Just trying to get a little insight. And Sergey Kovalev is fighting this guy, bro, that I've been checking out, and he is nice.
Yeah,
Kovalev
back to
is fighting,
Melikuziev. Back to
huh?
Melikuziev. Back to Bully. Back to
Exactly
Melikuziev.
him,
Yeah, back to
something like that.
Melikuziev.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
What
a
do you
good fight.
what you think about him?
Well, all right. Well, since you don't want to talk about none of the fighters on my topic, I will switch to that. But Bektamir Melikuziev is a very promising prospect. He looks good. My concern is this: I never buy into the hype, bro, and I've never been one to put so much value. I don't dismiss the amateurs. I don't dismiss the amateurs, but I put a certain amount of value on what that means in the pros. Now, Bektamir Melikuziev amateur uh pedigree is good. It's great, right? But he has 6 fights in the pros. 6 fights, and we're talking about a Kovalev. And I think that people saw what Canelo did to Kovalev. All of these fucking ideas that the fight was fixed, Kovalev won't ready or whatever the fuck. And then they're kind of diminishing Kovalev and what he is because he lost to Canelo. Um, and I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Bektamir is at the pro level, he's literally unproven. He looks good. He's a great looking prospect, but he's literally unproven at the pro level. And I think that it's going to be a good fight. I think that what he's shown us, he has a chance to beat Kovalev, but I can't call it because the dude only has 6 fights in the pros. I really can't call it. I've never been one to get all super hype on these freaking prospects, especially when they're only rocking with 6 fights, man. Especially when they're only rocking with 6 fights. Like, I can't. I don't
I
know, man. I
understand.
can't say that the
I,
Boogie is going to overload.
I understand because I'm that's gonna be one I'm gonna try and parlay with something, but I'm on the fence. They have Kovalev as the underdog actually on Bovada. So I'm just,
Yeah,
I don't know yet. I'm gonna wait to see what you say later on as the fight get closer, bro. I just put the
yeah. I'm
bug
gonna look
in
at the
you.
fight. I haven't looked at it too much. Just stylistically, these two guys, I haven't looked at it too much. I know enough. Bektamir Melikuziev, he doesn't really have a lot for me to remember. You know what I mean? So I pretty much remember the fights that I've seen. I would probably have to do more of a look at Kovalev because I've seen a lot of his fights. But I ain't like marking IBT and Intangible in these guys. I could see a fight fucking 4 months ago, and I can't break down every fucking round and what happened. And I think because these guys watch more boxing than I do, they'll take a fight, they'll see a fight, they'll watch it like 5 or 6 more times and shit. I might watch it one time after to make sure that my card, the way I scored it was correctly, and then that's it. I'm done with it. So I will have to go back and watch some more film, like, and I will remember. Oh yeah, I remember this fight. But those guys can remember this shit right off the top of their head, which is really impressive. But they do a lot of film work and they watch a lot of fights. Intangible, I think that guy probably watches fucking 100 fights or more a week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not heavily invested. I'm heavily invested in boxing, but not at that level. Those guys spend a lot more time into this sport, and I'm all around the place. Like, I'm over there on Pub Sports sometimes. Sometimes when you guys don't see me, and y'all on different boxing channels, and y'all don't see me on any boxing channel, or damn, where's D at today? D probably over there with Ticket TV basketball, or RB the Breakthrough basketball, or Lewis Sports Network basketball, or I could be over there on Odds HQ MMA. I could be over on Pub Sports MMA. I could be on Gold MMA. You know what I mean? So I'm all around in different sports, and those guys are more dedicated to the sport of boxing. That's why they know more about this stuff than I do. Like when the fights are gonna happen and all of that type of shit, and who fought who and what round, because they dedicate themselves more than I do to the sport, and so they know more. They know more, you know. But I have to go back and look at the fights. But you with me on Twitter, right there, gang?
Yeah, I'm on there. Yes, sir.
We follow each other, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna add you to the group that I have. The guys over at Pub Sports and Odds HQ. They're gamblers. That's what their channels are about. They do live betting, and then they give bet tips leading up to the fights. And every weekend I send those guys boxing picks, right? Because they don't follow boxing the way I do, but they know they're comfortable with the fact that I know my shit, and they're winning a whole lot of money off of me. So they depend on my picks every week. So I'll start sending them to you down that I know that you doing a little gambling with, because I don't really gamble, fam. I do dollar parlays, but I don't even look at that as gambling. Like, that's just for the fun of it. I ain't gonna spend no more than $10 on a weekend on it.
That,
You know what I mean?
greatly appreciated. That'll be greatly appreciated, brother.
Yeah, I send them to you every Friday, fam. Every Friday.
I'm gonna send you something on what you said, that's on Twitter. You said I'm just gonna
Yeah,
send you a message. I'm gonna send you a message because my name on Twitter is not Dead Game, so I'm gonna just refresh it to you real
you
quick.
already following me though, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just send me a message and then put this dead game so I know it's you. Butchers, Lisa
10-4.
Bell. What's good, Queen Lisa? Lisa in the building. I see somebody else stepping. Danilo, there he is. Danilo, what's good with you, Danilo? He said it's the vacant light heavyweight title going to be on the line. Bektamir is moving up as well. I heard rumors that they're planning to get Canelo within 3 fights after Kovalev. Yeah, well, they can keep on planning that. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, so Bektamir, this is the type of shit, man, that, I mean, we got through these 3 fights, so this whole shit with Canelo Alvarez and guys at 175, man. To me, this talk is getting old, man. This talk is getting old. Like, anybody else but Canelo Alvarez, anybody else but Canelo Alvarez, who is this demand going on, fam? This demand ain't going on. Nobody in boxing. Like, these motherfucking, like, I'm a Spence fan. My fellow Spence fans are perfectly comfortable with him fucking around at 147. Spence should have literally, we all can agree. And if you can't agree, you're a fucking Spence fanboy. He should have been to 154. Like, that's a reality, fam. This dude's going on 31 years old. He should have been to 154. What is all of this fucking? Do people understand that Canelo started off right where Errol Spence is? At 147. Fam. This is where the man started off. He has less dimensions than Errol Spence. He's shorter. His arms aren't as long. But it's this fucking constant demand for Canelo to be at 175. Like, what the fuck, bro? I don't even get this shit with Canelo. Well, you know, perfectly comfortable with Spence sitting at fucking GGG fans was perfectly comfortable with him being at 160 his whole life. And now all that they do is say, well, he's too old, he's too old. Now, he too old 10 years ago? He wasn't too old 10 years ago to go up to 168 or to jump up to 175. He wasn't too old then. But nowadays, in 2020, who else? Y'all tell me one fucking name in boxing. Anybody that you guys expect to jump 2 weight classes and campaign there. Somebody give me one name, and I bet you cannot. Anybody in boxing, I bet y'all cannot give me one fucking name of a guy outside of Canelo that you expect to jump 2 weight classes and fucking campaign there. I mean, we hear about Bivol, better BF. Canelo don't want that, better BF work. Now we hear about Bektamir, Melakuziev moving up and searching for Canelo. When the fuck has Canelo name been thrusted into 175? Because he's never done it. The whole time he's been telling people he never planned on campaigning there. Well, his name is thrusted into 175. And if he doesn't go, it's like a knock on him. But nobody else in boxing is expected to jump 2 weight classes and campaign there. Somebody please explain this to me. Or try. Somebody please try to explain this to me.
Well, I got Canelo beating those guys at that 175.
That's irrelevant. You know that. That is irrelevant.
Right. And I hear guys calling out Canelo to jump up. I hear them talking about Charlo to jump up and Earl to jump up.
Bullshit. I'm going to stop you right there and call you on bullshit. Here's the question. Now let me resurface and go back to the question that I just asked you, fam. Because this is how we get off of context and why nobody sees it as unfair to put this demand on Canelo. No fucking body has asked Charlo to jump up at 175 and campaign there. No one did, gang. They're talking about Plant and Benavides and these guys. Ain't nobody told, ain't nobody, and Charlo, he don't have the wear and tear on him as Canelo. Ain't none of y'all fucking Charlo fans demanded for Charlo to go fight in better BS, B-Balls, and Bektamir at 175. None of you. So it ain't even the same. And again, my question was, who in boxing has a demand on them to jump 2 weight classes and campaign there? Charlo don't fit the mustard, man. Because ain't nobody asked him to jump 2 weight classes and campaign there. No one. That was the question.
Nah, I don't know no one. I mean, I said Charlo because they talked about, you know, Caleb Plant, but that's one division up.
That's not 2 weight classes.
Yeah, 2 weight classes. I don't know anyone. I can't think of anyone at the moment.
That's my thing, because it's not. It's not nobody in fucking boxing that has that demand on their shoulder. No fucking body.
Gary Russell. Gary Russell going up to fight Bud.
Again, Gary Russell. See, this is why people that game. You're trying here, and I'll give you that. Gary Russell's stupid ass came out running his mouth. No fans have a demand for him to do that. You don't hear fans saying Gary Russell ain't shit unless he go beat Crawford. But you hear fans saying Canelo ain't shit, just telling me shit unless he goes up there and beats better Diaz. You don't hear that shit about Gary Russell. Gary Russell ran his mouth and started making these stupid claims. But it's nobody demanding. The only demand they have on Gary Russell is to fight some fucking body. Nobody's demanding him to go up to 147, fam. Nobody's demanding Russell to go. Which 2 weight classes from Russell would be, what is that, 26, would be 35. Nobody's even demanding him to go to 35 and campaign there. Ain't nobody demanding that of Russell. And when he talked about going to 135 to fight Haney, it was half and half. Only the fucking PBC lovers and the people trying to promote that fight like it was a competitive fight was clamoring on about that fight, but it still wasn't no demand for Gary Russell to fight Haney and then fight Teofimo and then fight Lomachenko. But this is what they're asking Canelo to do. Go to 175 and campaign there if you want to show me something. Well, who the fuck else in boxing has that demand on their shoulder? Nobody can give me a name because there's absolutely no fucking body in boxing that has the demand to dump 2 fucking weight classes and campaign there because the level of competition around them ain't fucking good enough. Because that's all it is, fam. That's all it is. People think fucking Charlo can beat Canelo, but yet y'all want to demand Canelo go fight better Diaz. But if you fucking think Charlo can beat Canelo, why y'all not demanding him to go fight better Diaz than people? Answer me that question. If y'all think Charlo's so much fucking better and he can stop Canelo and do all of this, why isn't it a demand for Charlo, who turned down a fucking fight with the Demetrius Andre for $10 million goddamn dollars? Why isn't it not a demand for him to jump 2 weight classes and go fight better BF and Bivol? So answer me that, there, gang, because a lot of people think Charlo could beat Canelo right now, right? So why they not demanding him to go fight better BF?
Because it's ludicrous. I think it's crazy to even suggest that. Even though I think he can beat better Canelo. No, it's not cool for Canelo either. The only reason why people might say Canelo because he jumped up there for that one fight, you know, and he got a belt. He jumped up.
What
He's
did he
dead
say?
pretty much.
But when he did that, what did he say? Him and his camp, when he did that, what did they say?
No, they wouldn't. They didn't never plan on campaigning at that weight.
Right.
They just wanted that one strap.
And that was it. They never said they was going to campaign there. So now because they laid out the plan and he accomplished that, now there's a demand. But there's not even a demand for Charlo to go there. But he's better than Canelo. And I mean, am I blind? People can't see the inconsistency in that. Demetrius Andre. Oh, he's the boogeyman. Canelo's scared of him. Canelo ducking him. Well, why y'all not demanding that Demetrius Andre go fight fucking better BF or Bivol? He's so much better than Canelo. He's so overskilled. Why he don't go up there? Where's the demand for Demetrius Andre, who ain't... See, Charlo and Andre are not doing a goddamn thing at 160. Whereas Canelo's doing shit. He's accomplishing shit. They're not doing a fucking thing, fam. Charlo wouldn't even unify with Demetrius Andre. So, why isn't it a demand for those two to jump? Canelo's ducking both of these guys, but they can just comfortably sit at 160 and fuck around.
Nah, I don't see Canelo ducking nobody, and the only way somebody like Charlo or Demetrius Andre is going to fight Canelo at this point is if they go catch a strap at 168, because I don't think Canelo is worried about 160 at the moment. I think he's going to try and go undisputed at 168.
Well, he said he
Which
was
would be
going
nice.
to go undisputed at 168, and I gave him flame for that. Like, I'm going to
Why?
protect Canelo, but I'm going to give him flame too, because you already told me you was going to clean out 160. So why you telling me you're going to clean out another division and you didn't even do what you told me last time? I already
You
gave
got a
Canelo.
point.
Yeah, I flamed him for it. I flamed him for it. And of course, I had a lot of people like, nah, D, that's not right. Because that's the problem with sports fans, bro. They wanna, again, the same inconsistencies with Canelo not doing what he said at 160 is the same inconsistencies I'm talking about with this demand of Canelo fucking campaigning at 175 when the so-called boogeyman Andre can comfortably go select a fight with Dusty Hernandez, fucking Dusty Harris Hernandez, and these Demetrius Andre detractors still want to call him the fucking boogeyman. Well, if he's this fucking boogeyman and so great, why isn't he challenging himself? Canelo is one fighter. Canelo's not the only challenge in the sport of boxing. These fucking guys won't even challenge themselves. People want to shit on Canelo beating Kovalev, claiming Kovalev is past it. Kovalev took a dive. Kovalev this, Kovalev that. But did did Demetrius Andre or Jamal Charlo try to go fight Kovalev? The weakest champion? The guy past it? If he was so past it and the weakest champion, why didn't they go try to accomplish that? Jump 2 weight classes and beat Sergey Kovalev. Why didn't they try it? Because they could both beat Canelo, so why didn't they try it?
Well, I would say this. They're not going to catch. The only way, like I say, if they go up to 168 and catch a belt, or the only way they can draw Canelo to 160 again is for an undisputed fight. And for that to happen, Charlo, Andre, and Triple G got to mix it up. And I think Canelo will come down to 160 for undisputed. If one of them became undisputed, Canelo would fight him at 160. But they got to put in some work. They got work to do.
Have you heard? Oh, Fabrizio. Okay, I got you, Fabrizio. Have you heard that game? People demanding that Canelo go fight Better BF or B-Ball at 175. Have you heard?
Oh yeah, I've heard
Okay,
it
all around, right? You've heard it all around, right?
all around, one big circle.
All
Yes,
around. So
sir.
AI, go smack yourself. Because Aobs always comes in here with this bullshit. I just wanted to ask Dead Game that. And the reason I asked Dead Game that, Aobs, because he's around on a lot of fucking channels, just like I am. So is D Hodges. Around on a whole lot of fucking channels. And whether you heard it or not, Aobs, go smack yourself because you don't know what the fuck you talking about. It's a high demand for Canelo to go fight Better BF and Bivol at 175. So that comment you put up there is 100% bullshit. There is a demand for Canelo to go at 175. So stop your Canelo hate as you usually do, AOPs. You're a PBC lover, dude, because you sit up here and justify everything for fucking Jamal Charlo, but you want to sit up here and act like you ain't heard no demand for Canelo to fight at 175. I don't know why you come in here with that inconsistent shit, AOPs, and think I'm gonna let you get away with it, fam. You one of the only ones that come in here constantly in the chat. I have people that come on the panel with that inconsistent shit. But you like to troll the chat with this inconsistent shit and act like you got fucking amnesia or you're oblivious to the fact that half the fucking YTBC is making this fucking demand for Canelo to go to 175. Where the fuck you been? You know so much. How the fuck you never heard that, Alex? You full of shit. It's no demand. What's up, Brian?
I know, I did yourself.
Oh, same old, man.
Yeah. So what do we all know? The Canelo?
No, not really. Not really. if you'd like to speak about the topics, Brian, the topic is the fights that's being overshadowed by conversations just like this Canelo bullshit. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. It's these 3 fights up here. Let me move this so that you can see. It's God damn it. It's Ioka and Tanaka, which you can't see Ioka because it's behind my
Yeah.
name.
Oh,
Jojo
sure. I know who they
Diaz,
are. I know who they
Rakhmonov,
are.
yeah, and Estrada, and you can speak on any of them or all of them if you want, Brian.
Okay. I think the least competitive there is the Diaz Rakhmonov. How do you pronounce that?
Rakhmonov, yeah, agreed.
Rakhmonov.
Rakhmonov, yeah,
I think the most exciting fight there, believe it or not, style wise, is Tanaka Ioka. I
right,
really think that's a great fight. You know, I think that is a fight that everyone's sleeping on. I do have Ioka in the fight, and I do have reasons why I have Ioka in the fight, but that's a very good fight. I think that there's an ebb and flow fight. You know, where you
right,
think one guy's on top, next minute, you know, maybe Tanaka maybe on top, next minute Ioka. You know, like I think that's going to be an ebb and flow, back and forth, great battle, great technical skill. Both guys, I love both guys, right? But one thing I got with Ioka is his timing. I just think Tanaka sometimes is a bit wild. You know, he's a bit reckless. The word I'd use would be reckless when he's throwing punches. He forgets about defense, and I think Ioka maybe can time him. You know, but I think that's a great fight. And Chocolatito Estrada, that's the second fight should have been made 5 years ago, and this should be the third fight now. That's you know what I mean. This should be like this should maybe the rubber match or the but free great fights, free underrated fights. But I think I think more people in in America now would be more excited about Chocolatito Estrada. You know,
right,
fight most slept on is Ioka Tanaka. That is a great technical fight.
right.
I'm excited. I am very excited what's coming up. You know, boxing is back with a vengeance. Love it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree, man. We looking good in the sport of boxing. Uh, and again, we got you know how fans say, "Well, we need some good fights." I'm tired of this. We're not getting the best fight, and then we got fights like this going on, and a lot of the fans are not paying attention to it because they're too busy arguing about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. A
Yeah,
lot of fans are not paying attention to it because they're too busy talking about Canelo need to go fight better BF. They ain't paying attention to it because Teofimo is not trying to fight Haney. You know, we
yeah,
talking about all of these fucking silly ass things. Hey, when they're not paying attention to the good fights that we are getting.
yeah. That's what I'm going to say. Let's concentrate on the fights that are happening. Let's concentrate. Let's concentrate on these fights because I'm telling you, you tune in on New Year's Eve and you watch Ioka Tanaka. You may be surprised just how technically good both of these guys are. How Tanaka tenacity, and his will, and his fitness and his foot movement, and Ioka's boxing brain, his skill, his timing, his movement. Um, just going to be a very technical fight. And I suggest anyone. I will suggest to anyone, right? That's a fight you should watch on New Year's Eve. No matter what you're doing, take an hour out of your day, out of your night, whatever time it's on at, out of your morning. Watch that fight. That's an exciting fight. And Mark put me on both of these guys, and ever since I've watched a lot of their fights. And technically, both are great fighters. It's a fight I'm excited for. I tell you the truth. I can't wait to see it.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I'm interested in both of those fights. Ioka Tanaka. Like I can't wait to see both of those fights. Ioka Tanaka and Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada. I'm a Chocolatito fan. Of course, I know who my top 5 guys are. He's not one of my top 5 guys, but I am a fan of his. So I'm more excited. I agree with you, Brian, that and I said this earlier when Mark and Tangible was on. I actually agree that Chocolatito and Estrada is probably not a better fight than Ioka and Tanaka, but I don't have a horse in the race with Ioka and Tanaka.
Yeah.
They're both great fighters. I like them both. I'm just picking Ioka. And Chocolatito and Estrada, I have a horse in the race, Chocolatito. So I'm excited. I'm more excited for that fight. You get me?
Yeah, I get that. I as a boxing fan, I understand. I understand that. For me, if the Chocolatito Estrada fight happened 5 years ago, I think I think that would have been I think it would have been a better fight then than it is now. But both guys are in decline, which all little bits, they're not the fighters they were, which can also make it exciting.
Right.
So I think that's an equal fight. And if you went and you asked 100 people who wins, you may get 50 people, 100 people. Well, boxing knowledge, who wins? You probably get 50 people. It'd probably be 47, 53. It will be very close. You know what I mean?
Right.
So on the Friday, chocolate, it's one of them. It's a 50-50 fight.
Right. Did they fight in? Because I keep saying 8 or 9 years ago. But was it 12 or was it 11?
I think it was 11. I'm not sure on the exact date, but I do remember the fight.
I don't know the exact month. I can't even figure out the fucking year.
Yeah.
I know it was like 8 or 9 years ago, fam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I agree with you that they're not the fighters they were 8 or 9 years ago. Neither of them. But here's what's so intriguing about this fight to me is that, and I was saying this shit earlier too. So Intangible, he let me know the guy because I couldn't remember the guy Rung Vasai, that they both fought. They have that opponent in common, but Juan Francisco Estrada lost to him. Chocolatito lost to him. Chocolatito lost to him again, but Juan Francisco Estrada beat him the next time. So, and that makes it interesting. But outside of Rung Vasai, since they've had their fight, that's the only guy that either of them have lost to.
Yeah.
So it makes the fight like they both done extremely well since they fought each other. And so to me, it's like, although they've aged and they're both not the fighters they used to be, they both have done exceptionally well since they fought each other. And I think that if Juan Francisco Estrada fell some, Chocolatito probably didn't fall any less or any more. You know what I mean? They're both like on level of where they were. I mean, as on their climb, they're both on level. So it still makes it an intriguing fight. If it was a situation where, okay, 8 years ago they fought and then Chocolatito just ain't the fighter he was 8 years ago, but Juan Francisco Estrada is still good, then I would be like, yeah, nah. Like I'll give you an example. If their situation was like Sean Porter and Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Now, when Sean Porter and Keith Thurman fought, they were both good. But I don't think anybody would pick Keith Thurman over Porter right now.
Yeah. That's a great assessment. That's a very good assessment. Right. But yeah, both of these guys has had stellar careers. Both of these guys are still fighting at the top level. Both of these guys are still fighting at championship level, which is very, 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 very impressive. And the fact is that these guys are still very close, 9 years on from the first fight, and it's still a 50-50 fight. Makes it very interesting. It makes, so it's not like one guy has advanced or declined more than the other. Both guys are pretty much on the same level, They've declined probably about the same. Estrada's
Right.
more fluent in his punches, the way he moves. He's more fluent, combination punches. Chocolatito come forward, good defense coming forward, aggressive. It's still a very good fight.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I said earlier, Brian, that I believe that when you look at these guys, they both have it all, right? They both have defense, footwork, head movement,
Yeah,
offensive skills. But I think that Estrada has a slightly better offensive skill set, and Chocolatito has a slightly better defensive skill set.
yeah,
But they
yeah,
both have offense and defense. You feel me?
yeah,
And it
but
makes this fight so interesting.
Chocolatito has good defensive skills while coming forward. You know, his modem is come forward, head down, get tight, good defense, good head movement, come forward, get it on the inside and punches together. Estrada is more on the outside, boxing, slick, quick hands, quick footwork. This is still a great fight. This I'm getting giddy at it. It's still a great fight. You
Hey,
know what I mean? Like,
Quadros was putting something on that motherfucker when he tried to box like that. You was in the chat with me when I did the Quadros fight, right?
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Hey man, Juan Francisco Estrada tried to box like that at first with Quadros, and Quadros put something mean on his ass.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Quadros came out early. He was fast, good punching, good combination, and caught him. And it took Estrada a couple of rounds to gain back, his foothold in the fight. So, it's an this is still an exciting fight. And both guys are shown very recently they still have something in the tank. This is not a dead rubber fight where it's their last hurrah. This is a fight saying I'm still here. You're still here. You're still at that top level. I'm still at that top level. And let's just see who's the better man now. That's the way I see this fight. It's exciting. Um, I I love these type of fights. Right, this takes me back to when I was young. You got Barrera Morales. This takes me back to that.
This is old school boxing. I mean, we have some guys. We have some guys in boxing today that resembles old school boxing. The
Yeah,
thing is, it's just not a great deal of them. It's not common in this day and time. But we have the guys that do that. Like, depending on what Telfimo does, if he keeps moving forward, he's resembling old school boxing. He's
yeah,
going out there, he's trying to fight the guys, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
if he stays strong to what he's saying he's going to do, then he resembles that. Juan Francisco Estrada, Chocolatito, and not even that. A lot of these smaller guys, incumbents, old school boxing. A lot of the smaller guys do. It's the marquee fighters in this sport today that have taken us away from what boxing used to be. It's those guys. You know what I mean? These marquee
yeah,
guys. Even my guy Fury. You know what I mean? The shit
yeah,
Canelo. I'm a Canelo fan, but I don't sit here and try to advocate or support or justify the bullshit that Canelo does. When people give him that complaint, for the weight clauses and all of this bullshit, I say, okay, you can bitch about that.
yeah,
And I don't try to defend that. So it's the marquee fighters of today that's involved with all of the foolery. But these smaller guys, a lot of these smaller guys are banging it out, man. Look at Emmanuel Navarrete.
yeah,
Emmanuel Navarrete is fighting 4 or 5 times a year. He incumbents old school boxing, and he's good.
yeah, yeah. This is I'm really over the last probably 6-7 months. I've gotten back more into the smaller guys. Away from the top weight divisions. I'm looking more into them. The smaller weight divisions, and that's just talking with Mark. That's talking with Intangible and all them. IBT. Talking. To those guys, and I've looked back at a lot of fights over the last 4 or 5 years of the smaller guys, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from those guys. Those guys are old school the way they fight, there's no fear in some of them. You know, the way they put punches together, the way they're able to take shots, come back. You know, you just got to look at it, right? And what did we love when 10, 15, 20 years ago? It was the smaller guys who had that, right? So, and the smaller guys today are still doing it. They're more old school than the marquee names is right. And a lot of the marquee names, the things they do wrong, you know, and we complain about is justified. Majority of it, you know, of what they do. It's justified what fans complain about. You know, a lot of it. Not everything, but there's a lot of things they do that is justified when we make complaints. But these guys don't get the credit they deserve.
No, that's a fact, bro. That is a fact. That's why I don't try to advocate for the bullshit. That's why when Spence was ducking, although I'm a fan, I put up, look, Spence ducked that smoke, right? I'm not gonna advocate for this bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And so I agree with you a lot, bro. It is. Like these guys are doing this bullshit and their fucking fanboys don't want to accept the fact that, hey, this is what they're doing. You know, Tank Davis is running around as a fucking facade and all his fans want to talk about, he making money though. What the fuck, bro? Mike Tyson made money, but he still fought guys. You know what I'm saying? Holyfield made money, but he still fought guys. Holyfield made more money than any of these stupid little motherfuckers they clamoring for, but he still fought guys. Like they talk about Tank little fucking pay-per-view numbers. Man, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield made over $1 billion together. Literally. They made over $1 billion together. Tank Davis? Fuck that shit Tank Davis doing, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? At the end of the day, right? If you're a marquee guy, yeah, numbers, everything. Ryan Garcia will probably be, you know, with his internet following, he may be the marquee guy in boxing. Maybe not the best boxer, but he may be the next marquee guy coming up. You know, but
Teofimo got a shot at that too.
yeah, I'm on about like you know, his Instagram numbers and all that there. You know, I'm on about like I'm not on about actual having skills in the ring. I'm on about like markability and all that there.
Yeah. Let me catch this super chat from Willie real quick. Willie Williams with the contribution to the Speaking My Sports Talk family. Appreciate you. He said others didn't try. Okay, so we're going to get into this regardless. I can see this already, fam. We're going to get into this regardless. And I tried to slide back away from
that.
Huh?
Yeah. I was trying to take us away from that.
Well, I tried already, Brian. This is the third time. But we, you know what I mean? I guess we've talked about Chocolatito, Ioka, Tanaka, and Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov enough, and people want to hear the arguments. So let me supply this. Okay, so Willie said others didn't try it because their eyes were on Canelo, while he was looking for ways not to fight them for whatever reason. He was making history moving up. We still want them fights or better. So see, Willie, and generally, Willie, we don't really disagree, but we definitely disagree here. 110%. Now, I agree with some of this comment, and again, appreciate you on the super chat, but I don't agree with all of it. Now, the first part of it, I'm going to dissect this comment. Others didn't try because their eyes was on Canelo. Agreed. That part we agreed. After the comma is where we get a little separated here. While he was looking for ways not to fight them for whatever reason. That part we don't agree on. He wasn't looking for ways not to fight them, fam. He was looking for ways to continue building on to his legacy. And that's a fact. Because look at the fights that he took. When he fought GGG twice, was Charlo or Andre, was that more intriguing than Canelo DGG? I think not. Because when he fought GGG the first time, neither one of those fuckers had done a damn thing. I don't even think Charlo, he was just fighting Matt Korobov at that time. Demetrius Andre, there's no need to even talk about it because he ain't done a goddamn thing his whole career. So I don't think that it was a thing where Canelo was moving in the way he was moving to avoid those guys. No, or to not fight them. No, it wasn't about that. It was about Canelo was moving to continue to be great, and these guys were moving to collect the paycheck off Canelo and not do anything to be great. And then so the next part, he said he was making history moving up. Okay, true, but he wasn't moving up when he fought GGD twice at 160. So that's one thing. He said we still want them fights or better. Now, here's the thing. I still want those fights too, Willie, which is why go back a few days ago and I got a whole lot of flaming Canelo for the 160 claim. And as Fish said earlier, and I wanted to say that comment, but I was trying to move off of it. But as Fish said earlier about the claims they made at 160, why should we listen to another claim at 168? Oscar and Canelo made that claim to us at 160. Where we're in line here, Willie, with some of that. Because Canelo made me a claim that he was going to clean out 160. Well, cleaning out 160, incumbent fighting Charlo, Andre, and GGG. But what you people have to understand, that if Canelo would have lived up to that promise, he would have went all the way through all of them, one by one by one. And what would they have done, Willie? Not a goddamn thing. So essentially, y'all would be asking for Canelo to go 4-belt undisputed, like none of these current 4-belt undisputed champs have done. Not Crawford, not Usyk, and definitely not Teofimo, if you want to consider him that. None of them went one by one by one to collect all 4 belts. None of them jumped 2 weight classes and campaigned there. And this is the shit y'all be asking for from Canelo. That's the shit that kills me with this Canelo shit. None of these motherfuckers have went one by one. Crawford had an easy fucking run to get those 4 belts.
He did.
And he ended up with fucking Ndongo, fam. Holding 2 belts. And y'all praise Crawford to the high heavens. He's pound for pound #1. And it's mostly because of cleaning out 140 in that fashion. In that fashion, an easy route to 140, he cleaned it out, and that's why he gets all the praise he gets now, because it can't be from what he's doing at 147. It's the praise based on 140. But with Canelo, either he goes up to 175 and campaign there, or be the first boxer in this era to go 4-belt undisputed, fighting every champion one by one by one. The requirements for Canelo is out fucking outrageous to me, fam. It is outrageous, the requirements for Canelo. Because y'all not asking none of y'all champions to do this. None of them. Like, Canelo has to go fight Charlo, then fight Andre, then fight GGG again. But y'all cool with Andre ducking Charlo ducking the Andre fight. Why y'all not clamoring on about this shit? That man could have unified with fucking Andre and ducked it for 10 million. And everybody want to keep putting heat on Canelo.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I'm talking about, bro. This shit is fucking crazy to me. All the heat gotta be. Then look, I'll give you another inconsistency. Because the Charlo, it ain't too many people advocating for Jamal Charlo that don't like Errol Spence. I think we can all agree on that. Most of the people that's out here clamoring on about Jamal Charlo, they like Errol Spence, right? But what is it that we hear about Errol Spence concerning Terrence Crawford? Well, Spence shouldn't have to do all the heavy lifting. Crawford needs to come do something. This is a narrative going. Spence already fought Danny. He already fought Porter. He already fought Brooke. Crawford got to do some heavy lifting. But these same Spence fans, when it comes to Jamal Charlo, Canelo has to do all the heavy lifting. Well, that's fucking hypocritical and double standard, fam. Because if y'all don't expect Spence to do all the heavy lifting, why y'all trying to put that on Canelo? If y'all are comfortable with Spence staying at 147 his entire fucking career, When Canelo started at 147, why are y'all demanding him jump 2 weight classes in campaign there?
Yeah.
Where's the consistency with this bullshit, fam? That's my thing.
Can I just say something, D?
Yeah, real quick, let me catch this next super
Sorry.
chat. It's another
Sorry.
one. Willie Williams again with the super chat. Appreciate you. I couldn't respond when you were talking about it. Sorry for the backtrack. No, it's no problem. No problems, bro. I just don't like the inconsistency. Damn, Willie coming back to back to back. Willie with another super chat. He said only because he opened that door. That is, he's done it to himself. But he hasn't. He didn't open that door, fam. That's what I'm saying, Willie. You just because you say, okay, I'm going to go up here, get this belt, accomplish another division. That was the whole plan, Willie. And they laid that plan out. They never once said we're gonna go up here, get this belt from Kovalev, and then go fight the other. They never said that. Okay. They said it was simply to win a championship in another division. And that's what he did. It was the fans that started demanding that dumb shit. Just because he's accomplishing, that means that opens the door now. So you telling me that anybody that jumps up 2 weight classes, the demand is that they stay there? Because that's never been the demand in boxing. So the door was open for Canelo. Why wasn't the door open for anybody else that did that?
Yeah.
Right. Like that demand has never been around. This is a completely ridiculous demand for Canelo. And then I asked myself this too. There are it's a 2 weight class dump from 160 to 175. So what the fuck is it that y'all really want them to do? Clean out 160 or clean out 175? Because that's a large weight difference. What is it that y'all really want them to do? And then compare all of these requests and demands to Canelo. And please try to apply it to anybody else in boxing. And let's see how far you get. Because no one else in boxing has that demand on their shoulders. No one. We call Crawford the #1 pound for pound guy, right? He's only went 3 weight classes. Isn't Canelo a 3 division champion? Oh, actually 4 division champion now. Crawford's only went 3 weight classes, right? He hasn't even completed 4 like Canelo yet. But that same type of ridiculous demand ain't on Crawford's shoulder, right? Is that ridiculous demand sitting on Crawford's shoulder?
No.
Pretty shorter.
No, it's not. It's not even sitting on Crawford's shoulder. See, this shit. People are just, to me, man. Fans are just totally unfair. They just exactly, Chin. That's what it boils down to. This is exactly what it boils down to. It's the same shit that went on with Floyd. They just want him to lose, man. They just want Canelo to lose. When you keep trying to thrust a fighter into these ridiculous situations that you wouldn't put on anybody else in boxing, that is a clear indication that you just want the man to lose, right? If I even came out with a video and said Charlo need to go up and fight better, and fight Dimitri Bivol, man, I would get all kind of hate. I would get all kind of hate. Come, what the fuck you mean Charlo need to go fight Dimitri Bivol? It'll be all kind of hate. But at the same time, y'all saying that Canelo need to go fight better BF. And in the same breath, you say Charlo can beat Canelo. Well, if Charlo can beat Canelo, why y'all not putting the same demands on Charlo? He's a big boy. He's bigger than Canelo. Charlo is actually, look, 6'1". He's actually built for 175. He has the height and the dimensions, 73-inch reach. Canelo's 5'8" with under 70. So y'all will demand a guy with 5'8" under 70 to go to 175. But if I say Charlo need to go fight better BF, watch the hate and vitriol I get. A guy who's actually has the dimensions to fight in that weight class. Let's talk about it, fam.
Well, I would say whenever, I heard him say Charlo should go up 1 division, and I felt weird about it. Like, why would you want him to go up? He's in his division, 160. But if I was to put myself in their mind frame, the only explanation I would say is because he's holding that franchise title. And that franchise title, he got it because he was supposed to be moving all around. So, if he holding that franchise, then he could be held to that standard.
Holding a franchise title doesn't say that you have to jump 2 weight classes in campaign there, Gay. It doesn't.
No,
It doesn't
it
say
doesn't.
that. That's
All
not.
it says is that
That's
all it
terminology.
no, all it says is basically you can move up, you can move around without, and fight champions, and that's what Canelo's doing. He went from 160, 168, 175, and now he's back at 168. I mean, I think he should just get comfortable at 168 and just dominate, bro. All that moving around is actually, I don't really like it, to be honest with you, because who's holding the third belt at 160? I mean, the fourth belt. Who's holding the fourth belt at 160?
They all split up, man. They all split up. Canelo got the WBA. GGG got the IBF. Fucking Demetrius Andre silly ass got the WBO, and Jamal has got the WBC.
Well, I think Canelo should drop his belt if he's not going to. Canelo should drop that 160 belt if he's not going to campaign.
Fans is demanding. He said that he's campaign. Listen, fans are demanding he campaign at 175. They told y'all he's campaigning at 160 and 168. This is what they told y'all. Y'all talking about 175. Not you, nigga. The fans. Y'all talking about 175. Canelo told you guys he's campaigning at 160 and 168. So if this is what he said he's going to do, why the fuck should he drop his belt? Why?
Well, what's going to happen is the longer he stays at 168, he's pretty much forcing these guys at 160 to fight. They have to fight each other. I mean, they don't fight each other. What?
Why should he have to force them? That's my question. Why you got to force
Because
Charlo?
they're not doing it. If they want the big fight with Canelo, the big bag, I mean, they're gonna have to give him something to want, man. At least unify. At least give him 2 titles to come and get. I mean, he could stay at 160 and unify before they even unify. I mean, they've been there longer.
I agree with that. Right.
Yeah,
I think
okay. So, go ahead, Brock. Let me get this super chat real quick, Brian.
Right.
Willie again with the super chat. Appreciate you, really appreciate you, Willie. He said because Canelo was their goal. Canelo to them was the top of the mountain. I'm just telling you why people ask you so much. Okay, I get it. But should a fighter's goal be one boxer or to achieve in boxing? Let me ask that again so nobody gets it messed up. Should a fighter's goal be one single boxer or to achieve in boxing?
Yeah. Here, right. I'm gonna throw something out here that's very stupid and won't happen. So don't say it whoa, right? But it ain't gonna happen, but I'm gonna draw you a scenario here. If Jake Paul lands a punch and knocks out Floyd Mayweather, does that make him the greatest boxer alive? Because that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, D. I'm just throwing out a scenario here, right?
Right. Even if it did happen, it doesn't make Jake Paul shit. Jake Paul walks around at probably 220 something pounds, right? So even if he got a lucky punch in there and knocked Floyd Mayweather out, that's exactly all it would be. It's a lucky punch. And I agree with you, it's not going to happen because Floyd Mayweather is going to play around with Jake Paul. Here's the reality of it. Conor McGregor's natural size is close to Jake Paul. And I thought he was absolutely ridiculous when he called Conor McGregor out because Conor McGregor will beat his fucking ass, right? But Conor McGregor is probably like 10, naturally now, like 10, 15 pounds, 10 maybe pounds smaller than Jake Paul. And Floyd played with him. Jake Paul don't have a fucking chance in this fight. This stupid motherfucker, man. He's been playing around with boxing for 3 years. Floyd has been boxing since he was the age 5, man. And probably one of the most intelligent boxers that grace the fucking game, fam. He is going to play with this dude. Play with him. You know how the killer whales, toss the goddamn sea lions and just play with them before they eat them? They're just tossing them back and forth. That's what Floyd's gonna do. He's gonna play with fucking Jake Paul. Play with him.
Hey, you want me to sell that fight? I can sell it.
I don't care if you do sell it. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna talk about that fight the same way I talked about Tank Davis and fucking Leo. A goddamn show. Another Floyd show. And Floyd. I ain't selling that shit.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about Jake Paul, walk around at 200 plus. If he land one good shot on Floyd, he could knock him out. But that
Boy.
will make that will make KSI the best boxer in the world.
Now, look, I'm gonna tell you guys like this. I'm gonna tell you guys like this. Jake,
Oh, dude.
Jake Paul does not hit harder than Marcos Maidana.
No, it
Period.
doesn't.
Period. Marcos Maidana had power. He had technique. Jake Paul don't hit harder than Marcos Maidana. So if anybody thinking that this kid with muscles that don't know much about boxing, Floyd's forgot more about boxing than Jake Paul fucking knows. And if anybody thinks that this YouTuber with fucking muscles has any fucking chance to knock Floyd out, it shows me just how little you know about boxing. And when they start pushing this dumb shit, trying to promote it, these are the exact messages that I'm gonna put all around, fam. I'm not gonna help promote that bullshit, fam. I'm not. Hold on, Brian, hold on. I told Punch this. I told Boxing Logic United this. Both of them. Because they like to promote things and say good things about certain fights, and they feel like it's for the sake of boxing. I don't agree with that ideology. I think it plagues the sport of boxing because all of the new fans coming in, you're getting them to believe in these bullshit shows. And that's not what boxing is about. That's why I don't advocate and push these fights, fam. We have new fans coming in the sports every year. You know why? Because people get old and people grow up and get older. So you have new fans coming in. And if you flood these new fans' minds with these bullshit fights like they're actually valid, that does not help the sport of boxing. It doesn't at all. And so I don't agree with Punches and Myra's ideology as I shouldn't down these fights so much because it damages the sport of boxing. No, it damages the sport of boxing and them putting on these ridiculous fights. That's what damages the sport of boxing, not me telling the truth about it. Floyd Mayweather putting on that ridiculous show with Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. That is what damages the sport of boxing, not D. Jefferson telling the truth about it. So what these motherfuckers need to do is stop putting on these ridiculous shows and then pumping them up to the fans as if it's a competitive or a good fight because of some fucking pay-per-view numbers. They need to stop doing that. It's not me that needs to stop telling the truth about the bullshit that they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Right. But my thing on that, right? Basically where I was going was these guys are going after Canelo, right? The Charles and the Demetrius Andres. These guys are going after Canelo, right? One of them knocks him out. They're the biggest name in boxing, but that doesn't make them the best fighter. What makes you the best fighter is having the best resume. That's and if those guys fought each other, Triple G fought what's his name? What's his name?
Charlo.
Charlo. Triple G fought Charlo, or Triple G fought Andrade, or Andrade fought Charlo. And those fights happen. Those guys beat each other, right? That's impressive, right? Pick up belts, and I do agree with that game. You do have to give Canelo an incentive to come down to 160 to fight you, and that's having more than one belt. So these guys eventually will have to fight each other to tempt him down to 160. Because I think now his natural weight is 168. I think if he wanted to, I think that's where he would campaign most at.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm just saying. So these guys have to have an incentive to bring him down, and either that is a big payday, or titles. So these guys do eventually have to fight each other, and they have to take each other's belts. And you can have a wee tournament at 160. These guys can all fight each other. The one at the end up with the free belts gets to fight Canelo.
Yep.
And give him. You have to give him that incentive. They have to give him that incentive to come down to 160 because I think now his natural weight is 168. Forget about 175, right? He may move up there for a commodity fight, but I don't see him going up fighting Bivov. I don't see him going up fighting Beterbiev. I don't see him doing that. So I think his natural weight is 168. I think that's where he's most comfortable now, and if he could stay there, I think that's where he will be for the majority or maybe the rest of his career. Maybe move down to 160, but it'll have to be for a big fight. That's where I'm coming from with that. To get him down to 160, it has to be a big fight, either financially or titles. You know, all the titles would have to be on the line. If you know what I mean, Dave.
I agree totally. And I agree totally. But the sad thing about it is Canelo is going to become undisputed before anyone at 160 or 175. And that's sad. Where these guys been at that weight and they should be already on the fast track of being undisputed. But and it could go either way. I think if it comes down to somebody at 175 being undisputed, I think Canelo will attempt it and try and catch that undisputed. Go undisputed at 160, 168, and 175. So that's a possibility. But yeah, you right on, brother.
Yeah, I agree, man. The shit just again, man. Look, I don't know, man. I'm getting ready to start focusing more on. I will say this: I'm getting ready to start focusing more on fighters and fights that's not being talked about, and focus a little less on these silly fucking arguments, man.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to continue to do it because it's fun for me. I like debunking narratives and I like getting the truth out there. But I can debunk a narrative one day. 4 days later, I'm putting up a live. We talk about the same situation. And I got 3 or 4 people coming back saying the exact same thing that I just debunked 4 days ago. It's a never ending task, man. It's a never ending task. I must have debunked the Devin Haney and you know, Lomachenko franchise ducking Devin Haney. I must have debunked that 4 or 5 times. Even had proof from Bill Haney to solidify it. And I had 2 guys come up here yesterday and tried to put that narrative out. And the worst thing was one of them was Myra Boxing Logic and now you got a fucking channel. So it's irresponsible for you to still be carrying on with that information. Cause you got a fucking channel. It's totally irresponsible to be carrying on with false narratives and lies, fam. But this was what he put out there. Well, he took the franchise and ducked. And I'm like, why do you not know this? Why do you not know that that's complete bullshit? Right? So it's like it's a never ending battle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up half and half. I'm going to start, I'm going to keep debunking these idiots and, these stupid narratives, but then I'm going to start doing more lives like this, talking about the things that's really great, because all 3 of these fights will be good, I promise. They'll be good fights, and nobody's really talking about them. Nobody's really talking about them.
What I would say, D, I would say as long as you're going through that Bovada line and touching on those fights, I'm happy. Because I made a big lick, bro, on Felix Strom. Felix Strom, man, and he came back and I made a nice little change on Felix Strom. But just if you hit those Bovada lines, I'm good.
Well, I'll have a lot of fights on him, especially from the prediction league. Every week, like we usually have a lot of fights in the prediction league. That's on Bovada. But if there's some particular fights that's on Bovada that's not in the league, you probably got to give them to me probably like on Tuesday so that I can look at them for you before, the weekend get there.
Will do.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't, all of the fights on in our prediction league are not always on the Bovada,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, I mean, bro, again, man, I will I'll do that shit for anyone because I'm confident with what I see in the ring. I'm confident with what I see in the ring, and I think for me that's one of the most important things Like, we sit around and we talk about politics, and I think that a lot of the stuff with the politics in boxing is easy. To me, it's easy. That's why it's easy for me to debate these things, because the information is there for all of us. Like, we all got the information. I'm no fucking, okay, I might be fortunate sometime to speak to Jamel Herring personally, or Zudo, or Junior Lopez, or Bill Haney. But most of the stuff that I debunk people with is Box Box 24, or CBS Sports, or Michael Benson, or Boxing Scene, or the fighters' Instagrams themselves. It's like information is there for all of us. That's where I really get it from.
Yeah, I get a lot of my information from a boxing site called All the Belts. So
What?
it's called All the Belts.
What is it? A site, a Twitter page, or YouTube
It's,
channel?
it's like a website. It's like a website, just boxing.
Oh, okay. It's called All the Belts.
All the Belts. Yeah, that's an
Oh,
app.
yeah, I never even heard of it.
Yeah, I get a lot of my information from All the Belts. So they keep up in the local, or they keep up in mostly boxing news, fights coming up, predictions on how people's predictions, how to see the fights going, politics and boxing, things like that. So
Right.
that's where
So
I get my.
for everybody that don't know this, real quick, Unrivaled Boxing News is doing a project. He has the best channels, I guess, channel of the year for the YTBC, and so he has probably about 10 or 11 polls up on his channel. So if you guys are interested in voting for who you perceivably believe the best channel is, the YTBC, y'all go check out that poll that Mark got going on his channel, Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Just go to the community tab and you'll see all of the selections. I did it. It's pretty interesting. I mean, Mark has a knack of putting these situations into a mathematical form, which makes it really fair. And I think he did that again with this channel of the year. So the only thing I don't like about it is that he didn't put his own channel in there. Like, he should have put his own channel on one of the selections, right? He didn't put his own channel in there. And I think his channel is one of the better channels on the YTBC. So how could you not include yours? But I guess he feel like it's his plan, so he didn't want to include himself. But yeah, y'all check it out, man. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. But anyway, everybody, Miguel Robles, what's good with you? I'm ready to shut it down, man. Got some closing thoughts, D Hodges. D Hodges probably still watching boxing. How about it, Dick? You got some closing thoughts, man?
Oh man, good chopping it up, man. Keep up the good work, bro. I voted for you with the one you were selected on. It's a clean slate, look like so far, but I voted on you, and I like what they're doing, bro. It's good stuff, man. Appreciate it, bro. And
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I think the way it's going to work out is like, he's taking the 5 categories, and then he's going to take the winners, and then probably do another poll with them. So I appreciate all of you guys that vote for me. I don't really care. I voted for all the channels, but I think that there are channels that was on that list that I like better than my own channel. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of their channels, right? So you know what I mean? I don't suspect that, and I'm not as popular as the other channels. I was surprised that I got so many votes, because a lot of these other channels been around for so long, and they got so many more subscribers than I do and such. You know what I mean? So I appreciate all of you guys that gave me a vote, but just whatever you guys do, just vote honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Just give your honest pick. Don't I may people might like me and everything, but if you see another channel that you feel like is better than mine, you're not doing me any disservice. Vote honestly, and make sure you pick the channel that you feel like is really the best. Because That's what I'm gonna do. And I think I still have more work to put in personally. I mean, I'm doing everything I can and we having fun over here, but these other guys, they've put in a lot of work, man. They've been here for years and they know this community and know how this stuff work a lot better than me. And to be perfectly honest, like Ring IQ's channel, I think his channel is better than mine, in my opinion. And the reason I think his channel is better than mine because he does such a fine job at covering both sides of the sport, women's boxing and men's boxing. And he's phenomenal with the politics and the things that goes on behind the scenes. And so I think his channel is better than mine. I think Mark's channel is better than mine. Who else? IBFP. I think his channel is better than mine. Mr. Two Hands. I think his channel is better than mine. This is my personal opinion. Like, I think those channels are better than mine. So just if y'all take the poll, just make an honest assessment. You know what I mean? G Man Boxing, phenomenal channel. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, but yeah, man, that game, D Hodges, everybody who joined the panel, I appreciate you guys coming through. And I'm just glad we got a chance to kick it a little bit about these guys. And you guys check these fights out too, man. You guys make sure you check these fights out because they're gonna be great fights. Every one of them. They're gonna be really great fights. And I like Jojo Diaz. I hope he gets through this and keeps moving forward. And we'll talk about some other fighters and situations that's not on the radar, right? And I appreciate all you guys sticking around and listen to it. We're gonna do this more often. And y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.